with Russia and China, now choosing a side. Confidence start eroded, and if hey, oh, yo, yo, yo. You decided to swing, say you suffer under the PNM. And in the driver's seat you want a new face. Let them have. Hey, oh, yo, yo, yo. You decided to swing, say you suffer under the PNM. And in the driver's seat you want a new face. Let them have their honeymoon, we're not going to hurry them. We're willing to grant them a period of grace. But some say it's months they're spending. When is this grace period ending? Others agree to trust the process. Some confounded, some with reasons unfounded. But here is the issue I want to address. How do you feel in your new coat as you sit in your lifeboat with clipboard and pen in hand taking notes? How do you feel in this era with fake news and hysteria? Are you wishing you could cast a new vote? Do you feel like a winner? Are you pleased with your returns? Is there a crafty spinner whose deliveries twist and turns? Do you feel victorious? All life now seems torturous. I want you to search deep within. Tell me, do you feel like you win? In Parliament we expect sharing of wisdom and grace, not ministers with big degrees in a small-minded fight. So shameful to see MPs ranting and pushing race, trading insults across the floor just to be right. Real issues they're not addressing, listening to them so depressing. We're left to wonder how some even qualify. Are we back in primary school where the biggest bully acts are full with literacy low but arrogance real high? How do you feel in your new coat as you sit in your lifeboat with clipboard and pen in hand taking notes? How do you feel in this era with fake news and hysteria? Are you wishing you could cast a new vote? Do you feel like a winner? Are you living with deep regret? Do old memories linger? Is this what you thought you'd get? Do you feel victorious? All life now seems torturous. I want you to search deep within. Tell me, do you feel like you win? Of ill will, we taught the dragon dead. We needed a new guide in our external affairs. With short steps and pillow talk, the dragon raised its head. Now faced with a regime that says it really cares. So they come and drop gas prices, but they raise with drinking vices. Yet they refuse to give premium gas supply. Then the offer paper appear with a permit for less than a year. Folks feel the 6 months license is a mama guy. How do you feel in your new coat as you sit in your lifeboat with clipboard and pen in hand, taking notes. How do you feel in this era, with fake news and hysteria? Are you wishing you could cast a new vote? Do you feel like a winner? Do you trust Kamala's leadership style? Is there courage within her to fight and go the extra mile? Do you feel victorious? All life now seems torturous. I want you to search deep within. Tell me, do you feel like you win? Carrie come watching close, whispering to the boss lady. We share common space, we could share advice. Protect our zone of peace and our sovereignty. If we don't, we could pay a heavy price. But mistrust that flooding the region, the Caribbean voice lack cohesion. With Russia and China now choosing a side, confidence start eroding, and if ever bombs start exploding, where the hell will our citizens run and hide? How do you feel in your new coat, as you sit in your lifeboat, with clipboard and pen in hand, taking note? How do you feel in this era, with fake news and hysteria? Are you wishing you could cast a new vote? Do you feel like a winner in Kamala's vision? Do you believe will they hang a Jacona? Is there something up her sleeve? Do you feel victorious? All life now seems torturous. I want you to search deep within. Tell me, do you feel like you win? You decided to swing, say you suffer under the PNM, and in the driver's seat you want a new face. Let them have their honeymoon, we're not going to hurry them. We're willing to grant them a period of grace. But some say it's months they're spending. When is this grace period ending? Others agree to trust the process. Some confounded, some with reasons unfounded. But here is the issue I want to address. How do you feel in your new coat, as you sit in your lifeboat, with clipboard and pen in hand, taking note? How do you feel in this era, with fake news and hysteria? Are you wishing you could cast a new vote? Do you feel like a winner? Are you pleased with your returns? Is there a crafty spinner whose deliveries twist and turns? Do you feel victorious? All life now seems torturous. I want you to search deep within. Tell me, do you feel like you win? In Parliament we expect sharing of wisdom and grace, not ministers with big degrees in a small-minded fight. So shameful to see MPs ranting and pushing race, trading insults across the floor just to be right. Real issues they're not addressing, listening to them so depressing. We're left to wonder how some even qualify. Are we back in primary school, where the biggest bully acts a fool, with literacy low but arrogance real high? How do you feel in your new coat, as you sit in your lifeboat, with clipboard and pen in hand, taking notes. How do you feel in this era with fake news and hysteria? Are you wishing you could cast a new vote? Do you feel like a winner? Are you living with deep regret? Do old memories linger? Is this what you thought you'd get? Do you feel victorious? All life now seems torturous. I want you to search deep within. Tell me, do you feel like you win? With talks of ill will, we taught the dragon dead. We needed a new guide in our external affairs. With short steps and pillow talk, the dragon raised its head. Now faced with a regime that says it really cares. So they come and drop gas prices, but they raise with drinking vices. Yet they refuse to give premium gas supply. Then the offer paper appear with a permit for less than a year. Folks feel the 6 months license is a mama guy. How do you feel in your new coat as you sit in your lifeboat with clipboard and pen in hand, taking notes? How do you feel in this era with fake news and hysteria? Are you wishing you could cast a new vote? Do you feel like a winner? Do you trust Kamala's leadership style? Is there courage within her to fight and go the extra mile? Do you feel victorious? All life now seems torturous. I want you to search deep within. Tell me, do you feel like you win? Carrie come watching close, whispering to the boss lady. We share common space, we could share advice. Protect our zone of peace and our sovereignty. If we don't, we could pay a heavy price. But mistrust that flooding the region, the Caribbean voice like cohesion. With Russia and China now choosing a side, confidence start eroding, and if ever bombs start exploding, where the hell will our citizens run and hide? How do you feel in your new coat as you sit in your lifeboat with clipboard and pen in hand, taking notes? How do you feel in this era with fake news and hysteria? Are you wishing you could cast a new vote? Do you feel like a winner in Kamala's vision? Do you believe will they hang a Jacona? Is there something up her sleeve? Do you feel victorious? All life now seems torturous. I want you to search deep within. Tell me, do you feel like you win?
I want to start by reading a quote for you that is trending online now. Someone sent it to me and I saw it so many times. I think it's good for us to read this quote. I'm sure when I start to read it, you will be familiar with it. It says, out of hatred for the cockroach, the ants voted for the insecticide. Out of hatred for the cockroach, the ants voted for the insecticide. They all died. big on in the tail, including the housefly that didn't even vote. They all died, including the housefly that didn't even vote. It says an African proverb, but it could be a Trinidadian and Tobagonian proverb. It is so true of our situation here today. Oh, they have jokes, eh? CNN people have jokes today.
The information provided by the speakers and/or presenter on Facebook and YouTube is for general informational purposes only. All information is provided in good faith. However, constructive talk makes no representation or warranty of any kind, express or implied, regarding the accuracy, adequacy, validity, reliability, availability, or completeness of this information.
I want to start by reading a quote for you that is trending online now. Someone sent it to me and I saw it so many times. I think it's good for us to read this quote. I'm sure when I start to read it, you will be familiar with it. It says, out of hatred for the cockroach, the ants voted for the insecticide. Out of hatred for the cockroach, the ants voted for the insecticide. They all died, big on in the tail, including the housefly that didn't even vote. They all died, including the housefly that didn't even vote. It says an African proverb, but it could be a Trinidadian and Tobagonian proverb. It is so true of our situation here today. Oh, they have jokes, eh? CNN people have jokes today.
The information provided by the speakers and/or presenter on Facebook and YouTube is for general informational purposes only. All information is provided in good faith. However, constructive talk makes no representation or warranty of any kind, express or implied, regarding the accuracy, adequacy, validity, reliability, availability, or completeness of this information. The information provided by the speakers and/or presenter on Facebook and YouTube is for general informational purposes only. All information is provided in good faith. However, constructive talk makes no representation or warranty of any kind, express or implied, regarding the accuracy, adequacy, validity, reliability, availability, or completeness of this information. The information
I want to start by reading a quote for you that is trending online now. Someone sent it to me and I saw it so many times. I think it's good for us to read this quote. I'm sure when I start to read it, you will be familiar with it. It says, out of hatred for the cockroach, the ants voted for the insecticide. Out of hatred for the cockroach, the ants voted for the insecticide. They all died. Big on in the tail. Including the housefly that didn't even vote. They all died, including the housefly that didn't even vote. It says an African proverb, but it could be a Trinidadian and Tobagonian proverb. It is so true of our situation here today. Well, they have jokes, eh? CNN people have jokes today.
Hey. Oy, 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 oy. You decided to swing, say you suffer under the PNM. And in the driver's seat you want a new face. Let them have their honeymoon, we're not going to hurry them. We're willing to grant them a period of grace. But some say it's months they're spending. When is this grace period ending? Others agree to trust the process. Some confounded, some with reasons unfounded. But here is the issue I want to address. How do you feel in your new coat as you sit in your lifeboat with clipboard and pen in hand taking note? How do you feel in this era with fake news and hysteria? Are you wishing you could cast a new vote? Do you feel like a winner? Are you pleased with your returns? Is there a crafty spinner whose deliveries twist and turns? Do you feel victorious? All life now seems torturous. I want you to search deep within. Tell me, do you feel like you win? In Parliament we expect sharing of wisdom and grace, not ministers with big degrees in a small-minded fight. So shameful to see MPs ranting and pushing race, trading insults across the floor just to be right. Real issues they're not addressing, listening to them so depressing. We're left to wonder how some even qualify. Are we back in primary school where the biggest bully acts a fool with literacy low but arrogance real high? How do you feel in your new coat as you sit in your lifeboat with clipboard and pen in hand taking notes? How do you feel in this era with fake news and hysteria? Are you wishing you could cast a new vote? Do you feel like a winner? Are you living with deep regret? Do old memories linger? Is this what you thought you'd get? Do you feel victorious? All life now seems torturous. I want you to search deep within. Tell me,
what do you mean? All right, good evening, Trinidad and Tobago and the world. Well, I know Tobago people right now campaigning, but I am happy. You know why I'm happy? My sister just bring a bottle of punch. Well, anyway, I should not say that. I say that thing. Well, you don't know what I'm talking about. But I am happy to be here. Share the live. Let me say hello to my people on Facebook. Share the live. Make sure and share the live. Today is an important day. Why? Because today is the last day for me to be doing a program for 2025. Yeah. On YouTube and on Facebook. So here what? We'll have to share the live. Well, I'll share the live.
Hey, oh, yo, yo, yo. You decided to swing, say you suffer under the PNM. And in the driver's seat you want a new face. Let them have their honeymoon, we're not going to hurry them. We're willing to grant them a period of grace. But some say it's months they're spending. When is this grace period ending? Others agree to trust the process. Some confounded, some with reasons unfounded. But here is the issue I want to address. How do you feel in your new coat as you sit in your lifeboat with clipboard and pen in hand taking note? How do you feel in this era with fake news and hysteria? Are you wishing you could cast a new vote? Do you feel like a winner? Are you pleased with your returns? Is there a crafty spinner whose deliveries twist and turns? Do you feel victorious? All life now seems torturous. I want you to search deep within. Tell me, do you feel like you win? In Parliament we expect.
This song is asking you a question. Do you feel like you win? Do you, Trinidad and Tobago, do you feel like you win? Interesting, eh? Very, very interesting question that this song is asking this evening.
Also across the floor just to the right. Real issues they're not addressing. Listening to them so depressing. We're left to wonder how some even qualify. Are we back in primary school where the biggest bully acts a fool with literacy low but arrogance real high? How do you feel in your new coat as you sit in your lifeboat with clipboard and pen in hand taking notes? How do you feel in this era with fake news and hysteria? Are you wishing you could cast a new vote? Do you feel like a winner? Are you living with deep regret? Do old memories linger? Is this what you thought you'd get? Do you feel victorious? All life now seems torturous. I want you to search deep within. Tell me, do you feel like you win? Of ill will, we taught the dragon dead. We needed a new guide in all external affairs. With short steps and pillow talk, the dragon raised its head. Now faced with a regime that says it really cares. So they come and drop gas prices, but they raise we drinking vices. Yet they refuse to give premium gas supply. Then the offer paper appear with a permit for less than a year. Folks feel the 6 months license is a mama guy. How do you feel in your new coat as you sit in your lifeboat with clipboard and pen in hand taking notes? How do you feel in this era with fake news and hysteria? Are you wishing you could cast a new vote? Do you feel like a winner? Do you trust Kamala's leadership style? Is there courage within her to fight and go the extra mile? Do you feel victorious? All life now seems torturous. I want you to search deep within. Tell me, do you feel like you win? come watching close, whispering to the boss lady. We share common space, we could share advice. Protect our zone of peace and our sovereignty. If we don't, we could pay a heavy price. But mistrust that flooding the region, the Caribbean voice lack cohesion. With Russia and China now choosing a side, confidence start eroding, and if ever bombs start exploding, where the hell will our citizens run and hide? How do you feel in your new coat as you sit in your lifeboat with clipboard and pen in hand taking note? How do you feel in this era with fake news and hysteria? Are you wishing you could cast a new vote? Do you feel like a winner in Kamala's vision? Do you believe will they hang a Jacona? Is there something up her sleeve? Do you feel victorious? Or life now seems torturous? I want you to search deep within. Tell me, do you feel like you win?
This song is dedicated.
So you heard this song. This song is asking you, do you feel like you win? Do you feel like you win? And I like this song. I like this song. One of the calypsos for 2026. One of the calypsos for 2026 that I like so far. You know, when I used to be at the other place, that was my forte. I used to have to find some of the good calypsos and play it for you, so that you can be aware of what is being offered to you. So that is one of the songs for 2026. All right. So again, good evening to all of you joining me on Constructive Talk today. It's my pleasure to be here with you guys. I am really happy. I'm really happy to be here with you guys today. I'm actually outside, so you're going to see me in a little bit. You might hear some fireworks, because I am hearing fireworks in my community, like if there is no laws against fireworks. All right, so, and I feel in a little bit you're going to see me. All right, in a little bit you will see me. So yeah, I hear fireworks in my community, like if it have no laws against fireworks, you know. It have no laws against fireworks. That is how I see, that is how I feeling. In my community, I hearing and seeing fireworks like normal. I don't know what's happening in your neck of the woods, but in my neck of the woods, fireworks is as normal. Normal. It have no laws against fireworks here. Fireworks is a normal thing right where I live here right now. All right. So good evening, Trinidad and Tobago again, and by extension the world, those of you who are locked on to Constructive Talk wherever in the world you are locked on to Constructive Talk. I say good evening and thank you for joining me. I am here with you guys. Another edition, the final edition for 2026. I mean, 2025, I'm rushing the time out. 2025, this is the final edition of Constructive Talk for 2025. All right, this is the final edition for Constructive Talk in 2025. Again, I want to thank all of you for your love and your support. I want to thank all of you for being a part of Constructive Talk. All of you for your commitment to being with me and staying with me and sharing the information as time go by, as time go by. So I am here. I know that some people are tuning in, maybe tuned in to Tobago. What's going on in Tobago? A lot is happening in Tobago right now. Yeah, man. A lot is going on in Tobago right now. So Tobago has a lot of action as we speak. A lot of action that is happening. So I am here. And today the opposition had a press conference, and I must say, it was very good. Very, very good. It was really, really good. The press conference was really, really, really good. And I want to say hats off to Mr. Imbert. Mr. Imbert was real good. Mr. Imbert was really, really, really good. Mr. Imbert would have shared some information with Trinidad and Tobago that I think I would love to play over for the program this evening. I would love to play it over. Because I think that the information that Mr. Imbert would have shared is valid information. Information that I think the man on the ground need to take note of, be cognizant of, because there are things that are happening that you may not be aware of. And more, as things happen in Trinidad and Tobago, and you play ignorant to it, it's going to affect you. Today I was talking to a customs clerk, and she was saying to me that they got a notice from the government telling them that they need to when they had already sent out some stuff to people who would have brought in containers and would have brought in different things. And she's saying to me that, hey, that people have to pay. It's retroactive now. That you have to pay the retroactive price. No. It's retroactive, so you have to pay it. I'm like, what? I said, are people aware of this? She said, no. People are not aware. And when she said that to me, I said, what are you saying, girl? She said, yeah. Some people already paid, and when they send us the information and the check, we told them that there are additional charges that is going to be added on, and they have to pay more. So I was like, wow, it's interesting. It's very, very interesting. Real interesting. And for some people, you just don't know what's going on. You might be thinking to yourself, hey, you know what? This next year, this is not going to happen now. This is going to happen next year. But clearly, it's not like that. Clearly, it's not like that. Okay, what's happening? Clearly, it's not like that. You know what I mean? So, we keep you abreast on how it's going and stuff like that. So, as I said to you earlier on, today, the opposition had a press conference, and I personally want to play over Mr. Imbert, Mr. Imbert's contribution. Alright? I personally want to play over Mr. Imbert's contribution, because I think that some of the things that Mr. Imbert would have shared, I think some of you need to hear it. So if you're now joining me on live, I'm going to be playing over Mr. Imbert's contribution today at the opposition press conference. And after that, there is something else I want to look at and talk about. So again, I want to tell you to share the live. Please share the live. Share the live, share the live, share the live. And let's get persons aware of things that they may not be aware of. Alright? Please share the live. And let's get people aware of things that they may not be aware of. Cool? Alright, so let's do this.
Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for joining us this morning. Before we get started, we'd like to acknowledge the Honorable Penelope Beckles Robinson, Leader of the Opposition and Member of Parliament for Rima and other members of the opposition here with us today. We thank you, the members of the media, and we acknowledge your presence. We know it's the Yuletide season and there are so many other things that you can be doing, but we also recognize and appreciate you noticing the importance. Mr. Brown, for highlighting the indecorous nature. The longest serving member in Parliament, the Honourable Colm Imbert, Member of Parliament for Tego Martin North East.
Good morning, everyone. I don't want to unnecessarily lengthen this press conference, so I will just deal with a few issues, although there are many that I want to talk about. The first thing I will talk about is the fact that the estimates of revenue for fiscal 2026 are completely wrong. Now, we told the government this when the budget statement was read in October. And if you read it, you will see that the Minister of Finance based his estimates of revenue on an oil price of $73.25. Okay? I will tell you what various oil prices are right now as we speak. WTI, that's West Texas Intermediate Crude Oil, $58.30. Brent crude oil, $61.71. We don't get those prices because most of our oil is from land sources, and it's heavy oil, and it fetches prices below the prices I have just called there. But let's use the lowest one for comparison. WTI, $58.30. And the minister used a figure of $73.25. If you want to do the maths, the maths are easy, you know. The difference between $58.30, I'll do it right now for you. It's $15, essentially. So oil is trading at $15 or less than the estimate that the minister gave in the budget. Now, when I was in the Ministry of Finance, we had a rule of thumb in terms of oil revenue. For every dollar increase, we would earn approximately $200 million per year. For every dollar reduction, we would lose approximately $200 million per year. $15 by 200 million is $3 billion. So I can tell you up front that the revenue from oil in 2026 will be somewhere around $3 billion less than projected by the Minister of Finance. If I go now to the international bodies, because when he spoke, we told him, those figures are wrong. Where did you get them from? And he said, oh, they consulted a number of experts and they were told that $73.25 is a good price. Well, one of the foremost forecasting agencies in the world is the U.S. Energy Information Administration. And they do a short-term energy outlook every month. Around the second to third week in the month, they give a forecast for energy prices. And the U.S. Energy Information Administration, I just downloaded it, their latest forecast for 2026 for Brent, which is higher than WTI, is $55. So my figures may even be conservative. There may very well be a loss of $4 billion in terms of revenue. The other problem is the unbudgeted items that are now being rolled out, such as the 10% increase for public servants and the advance on back pay. I would say, if I have to do a professional estimate of that, you're talking somewhere between $500 million and $1 billion will be required to be spent in 2026. So that's another $1 billion, because that's an expenditure item that was not catered for in the estimates of expenditure. So I expect the budget deficit for this year. I haven't spoken about natural gas. And many of the new taxes are unrealistic, impractical, and will not be collected. Mm-hmm. So we're going to lose a couple billion there as well. So I suspect the budget for deficit for this year will be somewhere between $7 and $10 billion, not the $3 billion that the minister spoke about. But that's just one thing. You will have seen that new national insurance contribution rates are going to kick in from next week. And I did a little calculation because I think it's important. The PSA was quite happy that they got their 10% increase, which they haven't got yet, by the way. Public servants are told they will now get it in 2026. January, maybe February, who knows. What they got in December was an advance on their back pay, a small advance. But I've done a calculation. I am familiar with public servant salaries. So let's take a typical public servant salary, around $10,000 per month. And I'm actually using a figure of $9,800 to bring it in line with national insurance contribution and benefit rates, the schedule. In 2025, the person getting $9,800 a month, the public servant, paid $431 a month in NIS contributions. Next week, that will go to $529 a month. And in January of 2027, it will go to $627 a month, an increase of $196 a month, or $200. What that does to the 10% increase, it immediately knocks 2% out of the 10%. So with the national insurance increases, public servants will effectively not be getting a 10% increase in take-home pay. They'll get an 8% increase because they now have to pay far more national insurance. And then you have the whole question of retirement age. It's not in law yet, but it's a stated intention in the budget statement that from 2028, if you retire at 60, you're going to start to get a reduced pension. You will no longer get $3,000 a month from NIS. What I find interesting about all of this is, let's take the PSA in particular. I don't hear a word from them, not a word. When we were in government and we floated the idea of increasing the retirement age to 65, using consultation as the process, the PSA howled and shouted and screamed and said they will never accept that, they will go to court. Now the UNC has announced it's going to increase the retirement age to 65, reducing the pension that you would get at age 60. Or actually they haven't announced that, they've announced that you will not get $3,000 at age 60. You'll now have to wait until you're 65 to get that. If you retire at 60, you get less. And they've increased national insurance rates. I haven't heard a word from the Public Service Association. Additionally, in the budget, in the fiscal measures of the Minister of Finance, he said this: in keeping with the government's promise during the 2025 election campaign, I propose that private pensions be exempted from income tax. These amendments will take effect on January the 1st, 2026, which is Thursday or Friday, I think, this week. Now, the only way private pensions can be exempted from income tax is if the law is amended to make that possible. We had a Finance Act in the Parliament a couple of weeks ago, and I've gone through this Finance Act, and I am not seeing any adjustment to the Income Tax Act to exempt private pensions from tax. It's not there. So it's not going to happen on January the 1st, 2026. Pensioners will continue to pay tax on their pensions once they are above the personal allowance. In addition, why single out private pensions? What about public service pensions? Because that's the promise that the UNC made, that public servants would not have to pay tax on their pensions. But in the minister's statement, he says it only relates to private pensions, and then he didn't do it. The other strange thing in this Finance Act is that adjustments were made to the Motor Vehicle and Road Traffic Act and so on. Just a few. Increasing the fines for driving without a permit and so on. But what we actually saw a few days ago, when I look at it, maybe about 4 or 5 adjustments in all are in the Finance Act to the fines and penalties in the Motor Vehicle and Road Traffic Act. But when I look, what do I see? I see using a vehicle in defective condition, fine gone from 1,000 to 2,000. Improper use of dealer's license, 1,000 to 2,000. Motorcycle without helmet, 1,000 to 2,000. Driver not wearing seat belt, 1,000 to 2,000, and so on. Mr. Birchwood spoke about the tail light now. How do you know whether your tail light is working or not? Obviously, somebody behind you had to tell you, so that an average person will not know that the tail light is not working. But this government has decided $2,000 for that. Seat belt. I remember years ago, I did an interview on Morning Edition. This is many years ago, about 20 years. And I'm coming out the car park downtown. I'm putting on my seatbelt as I come out the car park. I ain't reached the road yet. With wheels on the pavement, just crossing the entrance. Policeman say, hey, $1,000. Stand up there waiting for me. $1,000. I ain't reached the road yet. I decided not to challenge it. I said, look, I don't have time for that. To go to court, and say this is a crazy policeman and so on. I paid the fine. $2,000 now for that. Okay? And with respect to the demerit points, it works. I know many people who got demerit points for simple little things. You're in a 30 mile an hour zone or 50 kilometers an hour zone. It's very easy to get up to 55 kilometers an hour. That's just about 33 miles an hour. That's easy. You could be driving at 49 kilometers an hour and just touch the X or something and you get up to 55. It happens to anyone. The demerit points system dealt with that. I know people who got demerit points and were very careful after that. They're looking at the speed limit, they're looking at the speedometer, and they're making sure they're inside there. Okay? Because when the demerit points accumulated, sooner or later you're going to lose your license, which is a serious matter. But a fine? The traffic courts are clogged up with thousands and thousands, maybe about 5,000 or 10,000 traffic matters inside of there. Some of these matters don't ever get called. There's so many of them inside of there. So what's going to happen here? This is not going to be a deterrent for lawlessness. People just wouldn't pay. And they're going to court and argue and fight up, right? And the policeman has to come, and give evidence and say, yes, I saw this fellow not wearing his seatbelt and so on. And half the time the police don't show up. They have many more important things to do. This doesn't make any sense. The merit point system is a proven, internationally recognized way of dealing with deterrence against reckless driving. This is just foolish. And I mean, I don't have to repeat what my colleagues have said, that the Prime Minister promised to reduce fines. I don't have to repeat that. I mean, when I look at what is going on, it is just shocking. In this Finance Act, for example, in addition to doubling the taxes on alcohol, they also put in a tax on brewers. Brewers are beer. The more beer you brew, now they put in a duty on that, based on volume. Where do these things come from? Nobody voted for that. Nobody who voted for the UNC voted for that. That you'll get a landlord tax, you'll get an electricity tax, you'll get a brewing tax, you'll get a tax on plastics. I mean, all of these things are going to kick in within the next week or so. The landlord tax in particular is particularly ridiculous, I think is the best way I need to describe it. There are about 600,000 properties in Trinidad. This landlord tax applies to all of them, whether it's industrial, residential, or commercial. All. There's no threshold. Everybody had to pay. As distinct from the property tax, where you had to register at least 50% of the properties in a particular category before you were allowed to impose the tax. This landlord tax, they have no threshold. Pay right away. The criteria, they haven't been published. How does a landlord know what to do? Because when you look in the law, it says the Board of Inland Revenue will publish certain forms. I also saw something in the law, it's just bad law, because it says that you have to fill out this form, you're a landlord, you have to go and register, you pay a one-time registration fee of $2,500. But it also says that if the arrangement between the landlord and the tenant comes to an end, your registration is cancelled. Now think about it. Everybody who rents a property to somebody, there's a timeline and all of that. You might rent a property for a year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever. A lease will always has a term in it. So I rent a property to somebody for a year. At the end of the year, it comes to an end. This law says that once the agreement between the landlord and the tenant terminates by agreement, well, we've agreed because you signed a lease with me. You agree to pay the rent. I agree to rent you the place. I agree I rent you for 1 year. At the end, it comes to an end by agreement. It says your registration is cancelled. But you have to go and register again. Pay our next $2,500. This law can't work. This cannot work. It's nonsense. And furthermore, let's say out of that 600,000 properties in Trinidad and Tobago, 100,000 are rented. I'm just using a figure. How on earth within the next 3 months, because it says people have to go and register within the next 3 months. After that is jail, It's 3 years in jail, Under the Property Tax Act, there was a fine of $5,000 for not paying your property tax. Under this act, it's $250,000 and 3 years jail if you don't go and register. And then if your tenant changes and you don't inform the Board of Inland Revenue within 30 days, jail. How on earth is the Board of Inland Revenue going to manage 100,000 properties in Trinidad and Tobago, rental properties? How are you going to pay? You're paying in cash? You're paying by check? You're paying online? Are they set up to do that? And there's another part in there that says that if you get rent in US dollars, you fall within. How are you paying that rent? In US dollars? How are I paying US dollars to the Board of Inland Revenue? How am I doing that? Go to the bank and get it and give it to them? What do I do? Do I do a transfer? Because as far as I know, you can only transfer US dollars to the Board of Inland Revenue through the central bank, through a very complicated system. Nonsense law. And I am certain adjustments will be made to this. I am certain it's not going to work. And my question is, whose bright idea was this? I looked at all of this. I remember in 2016 when I had the first Article 4 consultation with the IMF, because that's supposed to be an annual thing. So IMF came in 2016, I was Minister of Finance, we still on there with the team, And we're talking about the fact that there's been a decline in revenue because of a collapse of oil prices. Oil prices had gone from $100 in 2014 down to $25 in February of 2016. And we're talking about, well, things bad. You know, we've lost $15 billion in revenue. Actually, I'd lost $20 billion in annual revenue at one point in time. And the IMF guy says, well, yes, increase tax. I say, what? He said, yes, man, just tax them, man. Put tax on alcohol, put tax on cigarette, increase income tax. I said, He said, yes, that's what we're supposed to do. But we didn't do that, okay? It is clear to me you're dealing with a set of amateurs. I'm sorry to use this word. And they just go on and they talk to some IMF consultant or somebody and they say, this is why you come up with all this rubbish. Because where on earth have all these taxes come from? And you see, I hate to repeat what the Prime Minister has said, but I have to repeat it. I remember Ms. Bissessa saying that you can't tax a nation into prosperity. Those were her words. And for that reason, after we had stabilized the economy, I stopped increasing taxes. In the budget of 2023, the budget of 2024, 2025, I stopped and I said no more taxes, no more increases in taxes. And I kept that promise. Okay? They promised to reduce. I stopped increasing. They said they will reduce. What they do, they double tax, they add more tax, they dream up new tax. It doesn't make any sense. All you're going to have is tax evasion. The Board of Inland Revenue is not equipped to deal with this. It is not. So I don't know where Trinidad and Tobago is going with these amateurs. I just don't know. I don't understand the political perspective in all of this, because nobody's happy about this. Who will be happy about paying all these increased taxes? Customs gone up, electricity surcharge, landlord surcharge, alcohol gone up, NIS gone up. Nobody going to be happy. Where's the politics in all of this? I just don't understand it. All right? So I would stop now because I could talk for about 2 hours on this. Okay, I'll answer any questions you may have.
Thank you very much, the Honorable Coleman Burt, Member of Parliament for Diego Martin North East. There are a few other matters that need to be touched on by the opposition leader, so we're going to...
All right. So you just heard Mr. Imbert. You just heard Mr. Imbert. I really want to hear your views on this matter that Mr. Imbert would have brought up. Mr. Imbert brought up several things. Just one other. There's something that Mr. Imbert talked about I want to highlight again with the rental. With the rentals, I want to highlight it one more time. I saw somebody would have done a clipping of it, and I want to highlight it one more time. So in the meanwhile, I want to hear your views, I want to hear your take on Mr. Imbert and what he had to say, because honestly, I think Mr. Imbert's contribution today at the press conference to me was excellent. Excellent, par excellence. And I really wanted to highlight it because I said, you know, people have all kind of things to say. All kind of things they just have to say about Mr. Imbert. But you know what? I wanted to play it so that I can hear your views on it. I played it twice today, you know, on my page. It's because I was so impressed by what Mr. Imbert had to say. I played it twice today. I think this is the third time I'm playing it. So, you know, at this point, I want to open up the phone lines, hear your views, take your calls, and, you know, listen to this that Mr. Imbert said. Listen to this.
It may not happen immediately, it may happen in the next 6 months, but it will certainly cause an increase in rents. That's for sure.
The amendments you anticipate for that legislation?
They have to fix it. It doesn't make any sense. I saw they put something inside of there as a kind of escape clause that the date for registration could be adjusted by the minister by order. They're going to certainly have to do that. They cannot stick with that March 31st deadline for 100,000 rented properties in Trinidad and Tobago, especially with no information, no regulations, no rules, no criteria, nothing. They can't do that. And then it says that if you're 1 day late, because you have to pay by quarter now, it's not every year, you know. It's a very weird tax, you know. Every 3 months, landlords have to pay a tax on the rent they collected for that particular 3 months. If you're 1 day late, they add 5% onto the amount owed, and then they hit you with a 15% per annum increase and so on. So there's no way this thing is going to be implementable in any kind of orderly fashion. I mean, these are crazy people, so they could still do it, but there will be chaos. Okay?
What is your thoughts? I want to hear your views on what Mr. Imbert had to say. All right, so your number to call is 464-7003. That has always been the number. 464-7003. 464-7003. That is the number you can call to share your view. 464-7003. You can call me now and tell me what is your thoughts about Mr. Imbert, what Mr. Imbert would have shared at the press conference today. Mr. Imbert would have shared some I think some valuable information, and I really wanted to hear your views on it, because I think that Mr. Imbert's information is something that you're not going to hear readily just so in the news. You know what I mean? You're not going to hear it just like that in the news. So, I'm taking your calls. 464-7003. 464-7003. Those of you on YouTube, those of you on Facebook, wherever you're looking at me, let me say thank you again for tuning in, for locking on. All right, thank you again for choosing Constructive Talk to listen and be aware. All right, and thank you say, if you cannot pay the rent, move. He really said that in true, though. He really said that in true. He really said if you can't pay the rent, move. He really said that in true. Finance Minister really said that. If you cannot pay the rent, then move. Move. If you can't pay the rent. But I think Mr. Imbert was talking about something different. He's talking to landlords in particular. And there's something in that landlord bill, that landlord tax, that, as Mr. Imbert said, it jumped out at me. The statement about there's this. So if somebody moves out from your apartment, right, Mr. Imbert is saying, if somebody moves out from your apartment, they move out. Right? They move out from your apartment. Mr. Imbert is saying that you have to go and register if a new tenant come in, If a new tenant come into your place, you have to go and register. You have to go and pay the 2005 again. Oh yeah, this is interesting, Mr. Imbert had to go and register again. Interesting, eh? Real interesting, boy. So yeah, I sat down and I listened to the press conference again. As I said, Mr. Imbert came with some real hard hitting points. Real hard hitting points. One of the things he talked about was the pension, where the PNM had said the same thing about raising the pension threshold. And the PSA said, you raise that pension, you go take a little court. No. The pension is being raised, and not as quick, not as quack from PSA. Nothing. Not a squeak from PSA. Nothing of the sort is being talked about from PSA. Nothing. They have nothing to say. Interesting, eh? Real interesting. So, the lines are open. 464-7003. 464 7003. What is your take on what Mr. Imbert would have shared today at the press conference by the opposition? What is your take? And I'm glad that they come out and say something before the end of the year. Oh, Lord, people are ready to crucify them because they ain't talking enough. You know what I mean? They ain't talking enough. So people are ready to crucify them. But they are talking. They said something today. Mr. Imbert said something today, and I wanted to hear your views on it. I want to hear your thoughts on it. So again, as I said before, the number for you to call Constructive Talk is 464-7003. 464-7003. All right? I'm taking your calls right now. Taking your calls, hearing from you.
Hey, boy, yo, yo, yo. You decided to swing, say you're suffer under the PNM. And in the driver's seat you want a new face. Let them have their honeymoon. We're not going to hurry them.
Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening.
Hey, good evening, brother. How things?
I am quiet, sir. I find your singing very soft, but go ahead. Let me see if I can do his job.
Yeah, so out of hatred for the cockroach, the ants voted for the insecticide.
Mm-hmm.
They all died.
Mm-hmm.
And the housefly who didn't even vote.
Yeah. And we're going to talk about that. When you finish, then we're going to talk about that.
You know, there's another charge that we didn't that creep up upon us.
What is that?
This
That's
has to do. No, this has to do with the renewal of permits. You recall you had the option to renew it for 5 years and 10 years?
Yes.
The renewal will now be $1,000 for 5 years and $2,000 for 10 years. Also from January 1st. Sir.
Say that one more time.
The renewal for 5 years, which was previously $500, $100 for every year, that will now move to $1,000, and for 10 years you will now go to $2,000.
Oh gosh.
For 60 and over, it remains free.
Oh gosh.
So add that. So people add that into drivers who are under 60 have to now take that into consideration. How they will renew. So picture you're getting the new public service salary from January month 10 coming, and you have to renew your permits in February. So you will be between a kind of hard place, right? Between your carnival costume or your carnival fetting and renewing your permit. Isn't that so possible?
Mm-hmm.
Or what functions you could be attending, whether it's a calypso tent or if you're taking the children to see kiddies carnival or indulging in kiddie mass. But the interesting thing that Mr. Imbert also spoke about was the measure with respect to private pensions, because they said that they would remove the tax from all pensions. But in the budget, they spoke about only private pension. And Mr. Imbert clued us into that in order to interfere with pension taxes, you have to go at the Income Tax Act. And there was no amendment in the finance bill that was brought forward. They had a series of other pieces of legislation that would be amended to cater for the change in fees. But that was not in the finance bill with regards to private pensions. So private pensioners will still have to pay the tax as well as public servant pension. That was a big part of the plan. Remember, one of the ads they had was a man talking that PNM didn't increase pension and he was suffering and so on.
Yeah.
So pensioners who fell for the hokey doke, no pension tax relief for you all from next year unless they come with a next piece of legislation. So in addition to what Mr. Imbu told us today, we need to have this stopgap legislation to take care of things that you didn't bring in the appropriation bill, the budget bill, and the subsequent finance bill. Is that sensible, reasoned, proper legislative agenda, sir?
No.
And Mr. Imbu used the right word, amateurs. You understand? But I listened to that press conference and what he had to say with great interest, great interest, because I am saying these people for the last 10 years, propped up by the proxies in media, Roger Hussein, Ralph Maraj, did you see how Indira Sajawan was whining like a belly dancer last night on the news to try to tell us how the fees will be relevant and how they would benefit the public, trying to hold on to her central bank directorship, Pastor?
But I don't think, this is me, personally, I don't think that the media should be asking her any questions. Because clearly you know her position. She's compromised.
Yeah, she's compromised.
It's just like you're asking anyway, let me go there. But I don't think
I know what you're thinking about. And interesting, I don't know if you heard the part, I want to preempt the show, but did you hear the Honorable Minister of Energy with regards to the opening of Petrotrin? He actually said tonight that they will have to see which areas of Petrotrin will be feasible with respect to the restart. Doesn't that sound like a walk back? Because we were told that the entire refinery will be reopened. And just like Brian told me,
I'm playing that just now, you know.
Yes.
I just want to hear the viewers on them thoughts on I really just wanted to hear the viewers on them thoughts on this whole thing with
Well, I open the button. I shall withdraw now, having made a handsome 50, and allow someone else to come to the wicket and play some strokes to the pavilion and so on.
All right.
Thanks for the opportunity, Pastor. I shall re-engage once the subject matters are ruled out by your good self. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. So we continue to take your calls, on 464-7003. You know what the caller talked about just now. Trust me, we're getting there, you know. We're getting there. Yeah, we're getting there just now in a few. We're getting right there. All right? So, I just wanted to hear your views, Trinidad and Tobago. I wanted to hear what you have to say about what you heard from Mr. Imbu today, because I think Mr. Imbu, as I said earlier on, I think Mr. Imbu's contribution was really, really good in the press conference today. Mr. Imbu was spot on, and he would have cleared up or should I say inform persons a little more about what is expected. All right, so I'm going to take your calls. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening.
Hi, good evening, Pastor Google.
Hi, good
Pastor
evening.
Google. You know, we talked about this thing. They can jump higher and jump low, whatever this government do. They can still retain 18 seats, you know. That is the hurtful thing about it. You know?
And what does that say to you?
that there's a certain group of people with a very strange mindset. It's off.
Well, it's not so much. Well. You might want to say a strange mindset, but the reality of it is that they support their own, despite what they may do, despite if they disagree with what they say, they support their own.
Pastor Gogo, so you need to know that these people, they could put up a drug dealer, they could put up a serial killer as an MP, right? And these people will still support that individual. Pastor Gogo.
Okay, so I'm asking you now.
No.
But you don't need to ask me. Wait, just stop. You don't need to ask me that. Let's look at what is in our parliament. We have in our parliament right now Mr. David Lee, who is on criminal charges. Won, and he won his seat handsomely. Okay? No, well, but you're asking me questions that clearly there is evidence of it in front of you in your parliament. And I don't think you're catching my point. My point is, I don't think you catch my point. Where's my point?
That's no matter. These people never still support a party.
No, you ain't catch my point. You ain't catch my point. You see, you saying party. I am not saying party. These people are going to support their own. That's the difference between a UNC supporter and a PNM supporter. A UNC supporter supports despite whatever you might say. They are supporting their own. A PNM supporter will say, nah, me supporting that. I don't care who it is. I'm not supporting that.
That's a way I don't know. It's just wrong. It's just wrong. Because look at some of the initiatives that they introduced, some of the taxes. When PNM was introducing the land tax, everybody was in an uproar, particularly them. Now with this government, now with more taxes, I don't know. Is it because of a particular race that this particular race it is in your right and nobody not supposed to back? Is that what we're seeing right now? So the African Prime Minister has nothing to say, right? He whatever thing that he put in place, everybody will complain. But another individual of East Indian descent now, I don't know. Pastor Go, you have a good night.
All right, thank you very much. Somebody sent me a message saying that we are not hearing you. Keep cutting out. I don't know. I'm just asking for people who are listening to the live. Are you all hearing me or you all not hearing me on Facebook? I don't know. Because somebody is saying to me that I keep cutting out. So you tell me if you're hearing me or if you're not hearing me. So I'm going to look at the comments on the live, and you can give me a thumbs up, or you can just say, yes, we are hearing you. All right? Because somebody just sent me a message saying that I keep cutting in and out, in and out, in and out. I don't know if that is true. If it is true, you can message me, please, and let me know. We need to call elections now, okay? Somebody is saying that on Facebook. We need to call elections now. On Facebook, somebody say we cannot even hit the streets. SOE. Okay, hearing you. Somebody said I'm hearing you. All right. So please, those of you who are on Facebook, let me know if you're hearing me. I am hearing you. Okay. Because, somebody's saying that I keep cutting in and out, in and out, in and out. I don't know if that is true. I am hearing you. All right. So just keep typing. I'm hearing you. Those of you on Facebook, because on YouTube, there's no comments. YouTube ban people from making comments until people could behave themselves. That's what YouTube is saying. All right. So if you're hearing me, you can let me know. Hearing you clearly. Beautiful. Beautiful. I don't know. Somebody sent me a message. Hearing you clearly. All right. So I keep looking at the messages on Facebook to see if anybody's saying that they're not hearing me clearly. All right. So we're taking your calls on 464-7003, 464-7003. All right, so we're talking about statements made. Right now we're looking at statements made by Mr. Imbert at the press conference that was held today with the opposition. They held a really healthy press conference today, and I think it was well done. Hats off to you guys. Mr. Imbert would have made some valid contributions, and we're just looking back at it, and for me, I think it is something for us to take note of. Please remember, what he's saying, because trust me, it is going to come back up. Let's listen to this one more time.
It may not happen immediately, it may happen in the next 6 months, but it will certainly cause an increase in rents. That's for sure.
The amendments you anticipate for that legislation?
They have to fix it. It doesn't make any sense. I saw they put something inside of there as a kind of escape clause that the date for registration could be adjusted by the minister by order. They're going to certainly have to do that. They cannot stick with that March 31st deadline for 100,000 rented properties in Trinidad and Tobago, especially with no information, no regulations, no rules, no criteria, nothing. They can't do that. And then it says that if you're 1 day late, because you have to pay by quarter now, it's not every year, It's a very weird tax, Every 3 months, landlords have to pay a tax on the rent they collected for that particular 3 months. If you're 1 day late, they add 5% onto the amount owed, and then they hit you with a 15% per annum increase and so on. So there's no way this thing is going to be implementable in any kind of orderly fashion. I mean, these are crazy people, so they could still do it, but there will be chaos. Okay? It may not happen immediately, it may happen in the next 6 months, but it will certainly cause an increase in rents. That's for sure.
The amendments you anticipate for that legislation?
They have to fix it. It doesn't make any sense. I saw they put something inside of there as a kind of escape clause that the date for registration could be adjusted by the minister by order. They're going to certainly have to do that. They cannot stick with that March 31st deadline for 100,000 rented properties in Trinidad and Tobago, especially with no information, no regulations, no rules, no criteria, nothing. They can't do that. And then it says that if you're 1 day late, because you have to pay by quarter now, it's not every year, It's a very weird tax, Every 3 months, landlords have to pay a tax on the rent they collected for that particular 3 months. If you're 1 day late, they add 5% onto the amount owed, and then they hit you with a 15% per annum increase and so on. So there's no way this thing is going to be implementable in any kind of orderly fashion. I mean, these are crazy people, so they could still do it, but there will be chaos. Okay?
So you just heard Mr. Imbert. Again, I want to just say to you guys, personally, I think that this information should be shared all over. So that was Mr. Imbert, and I wanted to hear your views on Mr. Imbert contribution today at the press conference. So I'm taking your calls. 464-7003, 464-7003. I want to hear your views on Mr. Imbert contribution today at the press conference. So you all can call now, right, before I switch gears. When I switch gears, eh? So I want to hear your views.
You decided to swing, say you suffer under the PNM. And in the driver's seat you want a new face. Let them have their honeymoon, we're not going to hurry them. We're willing to grant them a period of grace. But some say it's...
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Pastor Google.
Hi, good evening, ma'am. How are you?
I am pretty okay. All the best for the season.
Same to you.
Okay, my thing is today I listened to the press conference of the
Right.
opposition.
Yes.
And I find they all spoke well. It was very informative.
Thank you.
But my opinion of this thing with this woman who dropping tax for everybody, I find the landlords of Trinidad and Tobago, if they want to join, should form a little association between themselves right now, a little organization between themselves, and decide not to register or to pay no tax to Kamala and them. And let me see if they would lock up everybody who have property and renting out. Because the thing is, you would know what they have and what they're renting. They would hardly register. When was property tax? They don't want to pay that. They don't want to pay this. But now they want, I must say, the lesser class people then, the middle class and under, must pay this registration fee and then must pay every 3 months and whatnot. Pastor Google, that is skills for Trinidad and Tobago. Right? You want people to pay that kind of money. You want the priority bus route members to pay more money. And when they have to pay more money, the poor man have to pay more money.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
What is going on with this woman? When are we going to try to gather as a nation and put a stop to what is going on? Is the poor people trying to travel by Maxi? When the Maxi fares go up and some of the parents now not working, what is the situation? Is it they want to drive the poor man to run more to crime than anything else? Pastor Google, we have to continue to pray, and we have to get together as a nation and form some kind of organization to oppose Sad Bissessa and her disruptive people. Thank you, and have a good night.
Thank you very much for your call. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. You hear the caller? That's what we're talking about.
Some months they're spending. When is this grace period ending? Others agree to trust the process.
Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Pastor Google.
Yes, sir.
Pastor Google, this tax thing, this renting, boy. All I could say, boy, I wanted to have a jail big enough to take in all them people who they're threatening. Because if everybody inside not to pay, what could they do? But I know what they will do. They will go after the especially popular PLM people first, like the same but if everybody decide not to pay. Right? Yeah, they will. That is to get PLM people on the arrest books, like how David Lee and all the rest of them being investigated and criminal charge. No, I know the politics now, Pastor Gold. Pastor Gold, I don't mean a dumb anymore talking how let me go to Dubai.
Them still around? Them still around?
You know, I don't know. I don't even hear anything about them, no opposition. How people jumping out talking about how difficult life is. How you know what the PNM and Rowley. Now the same people who used to be clamoring talk about it for country, they get a little agency out, the little rock, and they have nothing to say. So these people was never interested in Trinidad and Tobago. They were just talking.
They were never for country, tall man.
Exactly. And Pastor Gold, I watching my phone tonight. I just renew my permit for 10 years. It's $1,000. It's $2,000 now. My permit's up in 29.
Of course, tall man.
$2,000 now.
Yes.
My wife permit is at $1,000. I used to pay $500 for she to renew she permit. So I mean, I gotta renew my permit for 5 years. This is really ridiculous.
Well, tall man, you can't say that. You remember they're trying to raise money to pay.
For Pastor Google, when the PNM was in power, these things wasn't existent.
Tall man, they saying that but they were saying that the PNM was going to do it and they just implemented it.
Going to do what? How everybody, 80,000 people almost get fired, was working. When Dr. Rowley take over in 2015, they stabilized the government. When they leave office, we are stable rating. Now it's negative. Pastor Google, our ratings is negative. What magic did the PNM use to keep the economy stable and keep everybody working through COVID, being paid when there was home food banks all over the place? What magic did the PNM? These people call for yellow is the call when everybody went, and I had one and face more taxes. This madness, taxi fare raising. Why living right now? And come January, it's how you people going to school, that people. Pastor, go, let me be real.
Tall man, people voted for. Tall man, people voted for this. Come on, don't do me that. You know, and I know that yellow people voted for this tall man.
I agree. But Pastor Gold, I agree they voted for that.
Yes.
If they don't want to acknowledge that they make a mistake, I tell them.
No, but I must say, though, tall man, if you look at social media from since this new hike in these traffic offenses and stuff like that, I must be honest and be real and tell you that I have seen some. Oh gosh, some of these staunch UNC supporters, man, they out there.
Yeah, because that Pastor Gold is ridiculous.
No, but you see, remember, for most of the UNC supporters, they voted. I remember hearing them on your same friend's program saying that when the demerit points were removed, they were saying it without a shadow. They were saying that, hey, I voted for that. I voted for the removal of the demerit points. You heard them say it. I heard them clearly on those fellas on the program saying that they voted against the demerit points. But when they, I hearing people calling back for the demerit points.
Exactly. These same people, they wish the demerit points was there. So Pastor, go and tell me something about PNM. And people tell me about Penny. No, understand the PNM. I was explaining to somebody today. You could put who in the PNM as Prime Minister. They have to follow PNM policies. That's some called a General Council. PNM Prime Ministers, whoever go opposition leader into Prime Minister, cannot go and do their own thing. And will not go and do it, because if we have some called General Council, which I was a part of, will take them to task. They can't go and do their own thing. They can't go and say their own thing. PNM have some called structure. No matter who is there, leading, whether it be Dr. Rowley, Xiaotong, or Ex-Prime-Minister Ms. Beckles, whoever is there, them have structure. The UNC do not have structure. These people going and listen. The last thing, something I see on social media today, some young lady bawling about AGC and squatters getting right to go and regularize because they were squatting in AGC, and she crying out. She said 20 years she applied, but she was born died, and then she can't get any AGC and stuff like that. She wants to know what's going on, how people go and squat in AGC apartment, and you get right. Now they ask the Prime Minister, so I understand she knows nothing about it. They ask the Minister how then he knows nothing about it. If somebody pass a goal, the PLM does not run so. A policy is handed down from the Minister, everybody knows.
But the thing about it is, what happened there is that the chairman of HGC was creating this policy without the knowledge of the minister. That is what it is. The chairman of HGC decided that he wanted to regularize squatters, people who squatting in HGC buildings. Let me tell you why he said that. Because what he recognized is that these people would have moved in some derelict or HGC apartments that run down and fix it up. So there are some people who would have walked through certain communities and realized that, hey, look, this building here, you know, nobody not living in it. It need pipe fitting, need changing, tiles need digging up, all these different things. And they said to themselves, you know what, I need somewhere to live, so let me move in and fix up this place. He is saying, right? He is saying, here what? Here what I'm saying. Let us evaluate all the work that they would have done. Okay, so they would have fixed this, they would have fixed that, fixed the ceiling, paint over, whatever. Okay, let us give them the property. Let them continue. Let them now come in, regularize them, and let them pay now for how much and how much years. That's his justification for wanting to do what he did.
So the minister and the Prime Minister didn't know anything.
The Prime Minister and the Minister know nothing about it.
All right. And the young lady was on Facebook, was up in arms against it.
Yeah.
But they go fight up with the thing. When UNP win, everybody wins. So they know the business. But Pastor Guru, I can tell you, come when school open, and January is done a hard month, and Carnival is 6 weeks away, it got hell to pay in this country. People real suffering. And I want to know, because I asked Ms. Beckles today a question on the state of emergency, she said she cannot answer. I want to know if this Prime Minister hiding behind the state of emergency to stay off protest. I want to know if she will continue to bring a next state of emergency in the next 3 months or 6 months just to stay off protest, because trust me, people will get so emboldened. If this madness continue, whether state of emergency or no state of emergency, got protesting. I tell you, because this is under the PLM, this never was happening. People Pastor Gota, people hungry. My former employees and Pastor Gola must say, I was trying to contact you Saturday night. We had a bumper time with the ex-CPEP workers down there at the office, in Silver Street there. The thing came up real good. I was trying to get in contact with people to come. But anyhow, Pastor Google, I was to treat them because I know the workers who real suffering, by Pastor Google, it has hurt me, boy. Sometimes it brings me to tears. What happening with people out here? People, it's not nice. And these people collecting $70,000 a month. Philip Alexander and all them, and how much ever money they're collecting. They don't really understand how people suffering, boy. Pasco people, boy, I don't know what to say again now. Everybody may not be in your position, but it's have people out there real hard with them. And when they call you, I have to reach out to them. I have to reach out as the moment Pasco Lagon. Right?
All right.
It's sad. I'll apply it.
Thank you very much. And what Tolman is saying there is a fact, you know. And that is why, you know, with our hamper drive and persons who we would have tried to assist and stuff like that, that is the reality, you know, people are going through. And there are some people who don't believe that people are going through. You know that? There are some people who don't believe that. There are people who believe everybody good. People are good. Nobody ain't going through nothing. All they're talking about, all they calling thing on people. Nobody ain't going through nothing. Right? Nobody ain't going through nothing. Relax all yourself with that. The reality is that people are going through. People are going through. What's the time now? So I take one more call. It's 9:56. At 10 o'clock, we're going to switch gears a little bit. All right? So we're taking one more call on this situation.
You decided to swing, say you suffer under the PNM. And in the driver's seat you want a new face. Let them have their honeymoon, we're not going to hurry them. We're willing to grant them a period of grace. But some say it's months they're spending. When is this grace period ending? Others agree to trust the process. Some confounded, some with reasons unfounded. But here is the issue I want to address. How do you feel in your new coat as you sit in your lifeboat with clipboard and pen in hand taking note? How do you feel in this era with fake news and hysteria? Are you wishing you could cast a new vote? Do you feel like a winner? Are you pleased with your returns? Is there a crafty spinner whose deliveries twist and turns? Do you feel victorious? All life now seems torturous. I want you to search deep within. Tell me, do you feel like you win?
Do you feel like you win?
In Parliament we expect sharing of wisdom and grace, not ministers with big degrees in a small-minded fight. So shameful to see MPs ranting and pushing race, trading insults across the floor just to be right. Real issues they're not addressing, listening to them so depressing. We're left to wonder how some even qualify. Are we back in primary school where the biggest bully acts are full with literacy low but arrogance real high? How do you feel in your new coat as you sit in your lifeboat with clipboard and pen in hand taking notes? How do you feel in this era with fake news and hysteria? Are you wishing you could cast a new vote? Do you feel like a winner? Are you living with deep regret? Do old memories linger? Is this what you thought you'd get? Do you feel victorious? All life now seems torturous. I want you to search deep within. Tell me, do you feel like you win?
So the song says, do you feel like you win? Do you feel like you win, Trinidad and Tobago? Do you feel like you win? That's the question, and I wanted to ask many of you. Do you feel like you win? All right. So what I wanted to do now, I want to change gears a little bit and talk about something else. I want to discuss something else, something that we need to keep our eyes on. And don't be fooled, don't allow yourself to be lied to. Don't allow yourself to be lied to, and don't be fooled. All right? Take a listen to this. Take a listen to this. So we're gonna be talking energy now. We're gonna be talking energy. Take a listen to this.
Well, questions are being raised about the stability of TNT's petrochemical sector following reports that Nutrien is scaling back nitrogen production. As concerns persist about the wider impact on the energy sector, Energy Minister Dr. Rudal Munilal says the government remains engaged with the company.
Meanwhile, TNT's offshore energy push has moved forward, with the Environmental Management Authority giving ExxonMobil the approval to carry out seismic work off the east coast.
Andrea Perez-Sobers tells us more in tonight's Business Watch.
International headlines over the weekend placed Trinidad and Tobago at the center of Nutrien's global restructuring as the Canadian-based company shifts investment away from nitrogen production and towards potash. Speaking to Business Watch on Monday, Energy Minister Dr. Rudal Munilal acknowledged the reports but insisted lines of communication remains open.
They have taken decisions in relation to global markets and so on, and we wish them all the best. We are still in touch with the Nutrien people concerning Trinidad and Tobago. They have still expressed a commitment to work with us and to invest in Trinidad and Tobago.
Okay, so they're staying.
But they have expressed an interest in investing and working with us.
However, former Energy Minister Stuart Young has raised concerns, warning that a full withdrawal by Nutrien could result in job losses, foreign exchange fallout, and long-term damage to investor confidence. Efforts to get a response from Nutrien's management proved futile.
So she's saying that they try to get on the Nutrix, and but I listened to Dale and Tony this morning, and I want to play for you Mr. Tony Lee's as a media practitioner. I want to listen to you. I want you to listen to Mr. Tony Lee.
But I mean, we are caught up in the slangs and the dump business and everything else. But 2 days ago, I read this story, and this has to do with our energy sector. And the story quoted extensively from Nutrien. And it speaks to Nutrien vacating its business in Trinidad and Tobago. And they meaning Nutrien, gave a couple of reasons as to why they have vacated their business is in Trinidad and Tobago. And I was taken aback by it because we've touched on it before. So it looks as if Nutrien has decided to close up shop in Trinidad and Tobago. And I see there has been a Facebook post from Stuart Young, former Minister of Energy, who does have some knowledge of it, I suspect, because he was there for some time, and a response from the sitting member, who is the Minister of Energy, Dr. Munilal. But let me just read for you, because you will have the red side supporting Young and the yellow side supporting Munilal, and that's rather kindergarten in my opinion. But according to Nutrien, and this was published in October, because I've been keeping my eyes on this story for some time. According to Nutrien, this is the company, not Munilal, not Stuart Young. So forget two of them. The company said, this is Nutrien, not Stuart Young, not Munilal. I said it 3 times with purpose. The decision to bus it from Trinidad, my language now, came, I quote Nutrien now, in response to port access restrictions imposed by the Trinidad and Tobago's National Energy Corporation, along with a lack of reliable and economic natural gas supply that affected its financial performance. The story goes on and it quotes a fellow called Devan Mescal, who is at the University of Saskatchewan in Canada. And he says that Nutrien challenges in Trinidad went beyond economics. And this is what he said. These are his words. I think there was political changes in Trinidad and Tobago's operation, where a new government there was trying to squeeze Nutrien and restrict its access to ports and force it into an unfavorable negotiation of the agreements. I think Nutrien realized that was not in their best interests and so ceased those operations. I thought I'd mention this because Nutrien, as we have been told, was a very important part of our energy-based revenue stream. So I just thought I'd put this into the public record because I see the toing and froing between Stuart Young and Munilal has started, and that will go on for the next 5 minutes because by tomorrow night is party, hearty, ham, lamb, and jam, and then it's carnival. So Nutrien, according to Nutrien, they are out of Trinidad and Tobago. So whatever revenue streams we got from Nutrien, small as it is, or big as it is, that is it.
But has Dr. Munilal responded?
Well, Dr. Munilal...
Because what that implies to me, based on what you have read, what that implies to me is that the government was pushing Nutrien into a corner to negotiate what Nutrien considers to be not in its best interest. Is my interpretation...
Business. Correct.
And Dr. Munilal hasn't responded?
Well, he has responded to Stuart Young as well as Nutrien.
Right.
So I'm going to tell you what Stuart Young is saying and what Munilal is saying a little later on this morning.
Okay.
I just wanted to make it clear that what I gave you now was Nutrien, because you will hear what Stuart Young has to say, which is on the red side, and then you will hear what Munilal has to say, which is on the yellow side, and the two of them will battle up the road.
Good morning.
But at the end of the day, Nutrien is out of Trinidad and Tobago until further notice. Let me use those nice words. All right, so I wanted to deal with this because I started with it.
Yeah, and I was asking, I wanted to hear what...
Because I have a duty to do it. Because I have been taking note of Nutrien's position, and I said to you all, Nutrien is a very important revenue stream in our energy sector in Trinidad and Tobago. So I took a note of it since the last 2, 3, 4 days. Make my notes. And then I saw today Dr. Munilal having a position on it. And I saw today as well former Minister of Energy, Minister Young, having a position. So let me read the opposition fellow first. There's Stuart Young position. And then I will read the government position, who is Munilal. Now you know Nutrien's position, right? I read that out for you this morning. So according to Stuart Young now, he says, if Nutrien follows through on plans to sell overseas assets and redirect capital towards its potash business, it, I quote, would be a disaster for Trinidad and Tobago. Stuart Young goes on. This significant investment was based on the confidence that Nutrien had in Trinidad and Tobago and our energy sector's management and outlook. The gas sector was being carefully managed, relationships were mutually respectful, and Trinidad and Tobago's interest was being looked after. It is a delicate balance in terms of a balancing exercise, understanding that we are competing globally against other countries that also have natural gas supplies. Fast forward to December 2025, 8 months after the UNC took over government, and look at what the headlines are. Goes on to talk about the incompetence and the ignorance of the Prasad-Bissessa administration and so on. So he's knocking the UNC, right? Good. So that is Stuart Young's position. Now let's read Dr. Munilal's position. He's the boss at the moment. And according to the report today, it says, despite international reports that suggest Canadian petrochemical company Nutrien is making moves to pivot away from ammonia production, and I read Nutrien's position earlier on this morning, and it is accurate. Minister of Energy Dr. Rudal Munilal said the company is still committed to working with Trinidad and Tobago. I don't understand why he's saying that, because they have said they are moving away. Anyway, Dr. Munilal made a comment in response to a request for an update on the government's interactions with Nutrien after the report came out a few days ago. And let me quote Dr. Munilal now. These are his words. I have taken note as well that the Nutrien company is now in the process of diversifying its production base. They have taken decisions in relation to global markets and so on, and we wish them all the best. We are still in touch with the Nutrien people concerning Trinidad and Tobago. And that's his response.
That's it?
He goes on to say a little lower on in the report that the company has not closed the door on Trinidad and Tobago yet. They have still expressed a commitment to work with us and to invest in Trinidad and Tobago. They have expressed an interest in investing and working with us. What else? You'll find out. So that is Dr. Munilal's response to Nutrien's position. And I just gave you Stuart Young, the former Minister of Energy's position on Nutrien's position. Based on what I have read, Nutrien has decided to change direction, and therefore they're leaving Trinidad and Tobago. That is my assumption.
No, it cannot be an assumption, because they said...
Well, I read it.
You read it earlier.
Yeah, they're moving to another... They're going in another direction. So they're moving operations. So we'll see. Dr. Munilal says they're still willing to work with us. So we'll see in the next few months whether Nutrien is reinvesting in Trinidad and Tobago. Time will take care of that. Folks, I read this because I think it's very important. Because it's a serious part of the economy. I finish with that.
What say you? What say you on this? Your load that I just played. But I want to add something to it. Well, yeah, that. Ooh, this place, it's getting hot in here. Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Hi, good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, Pastor Gobe. We could still talk about the landlord tax?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. When the PNM introduced property tax, right? Ms. Bissessa and they told the people don't pay no property tax. And a lot of them didn't pay no property tax. So why we people who have a little thing now must go and pay landlord tax? I find the PNM supposed to tell you don't pay no tax.
But remember, the PNM is different, eh? The PNM is a different party.
I know the PNM is for the country.
Yes.
The UNC does see about the religion and the supporters.
Beautiful. Well said.
We all know this. But why they telling them don't pay property tax? They didn't pay property tax. So why people now must go and pay, what is the name? Rental tax.
Landlord tax.
I find that very stupid. I find people shouldn't pay nothing. Yes. Don't talk about manners. If you could tell people don't pay property tax because the EPNM want money and they want their money and all kind of stuff. Why you must come now to tell people to pay landlord tax?
I hear you.
And people must run and pay it. Will let the jail the whole country who renting, who have property renting.
All
But
right.
you see how much people running on to pay it, let me see.
All right. Thank you very much.
Okay then.
Let me play this clip for you.
The Energy Chamber is throwing its support behind plans by Energy Minister Dr. Rudal Munilal to cut approval times and create a central hub to speed up decision-making in the energy sector. On Tuesday, the Chamber notes the current system is not just slow, it is costing the country hundreds of millions of US dollars and putting gas development at risk. The Energy Chamber is throwing its support behind plans by Energy Minister Dr. Rudal Munilal to cut approval times and create a central hub to speed up decision-making in the energy sector. On Tuesday, the Chamber notes the current system is not just slow, it is costing the country hundreds of millions of US dollars and putting gas development at risk. The Energy Chamber says the problem is clear and long-standing. A study it commissioned found that a single upstream gas project requires 33 major approvals spread across 8 different agencies and ministries. More than half of those key decisions fall outside the direct control of the Energy Ministry. The result? Projects moving at a crawl. On average, the Chamber outlines it takes about 12 years from the launch of a bid round to first gas from a shallow water field. That timeline, it argues, is simply not competitive. The Chamber warns that every year lost to bureaucracy comes at a heavy price. Its study estimates that cutting just 1 year from the approval cycle could add roughly 120 million US dollars to the value of a typical gas project, money that could make the difference between a final investment decision and a project being shelved. Looking at other business news, Energy Minister Dr. Rudal Munilal says the long-awaited Refinery Restart Committee report is now under round-the-clock review as government weighs its options for Guayacarol. He told Business Watch the issue is engaging his ministry.
As government weighs its options? I didn't know that there were options. I thought that the government was going to just reopen the refinery. As the government weighs their options? How we reach the options now? Why are we talking options? How we resort to options? I'm confused. We're going to open the refinery. We'll open back the refinery. We will open back the refinery. We're opening back the refinery. We are opening the refinery. We have a refinery. We have the committee, and the committee is giving what the guy named from Point 14 said that the refinery is going to be opened back. We're going to open back the refinery. How are you talking now? Options.
Year from the approval cycle could add roughly 120 million US dollars to the value of a typical gas project, money that could make the difference between a final investment decision and a project being shelved. Looking at other business news, Energy Minister Dr. Rudal Munilal says the long-awaited Refinery Restart Committee report is now under round-the-clock review as government weighs its options for Guayacarol. He told Business Watch the issue is engaging his ministry 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. A discussion intensified locally and internationally.
We spend a lot of time now analyzing that report and in discussions with persons concerning the future of the refinery. I can indicate that quite recently I've had some dialogue as well with the Minister of Energy of Suriname, Mr. Patrick Brummings, and that was a matter discussed as well because, as you know, they operate a smaller refinery in Suriname.
The minister highlights Guyana's state-led approach to refining is one model now being examined as Trinidad and Tobago considers whether the refinery can be brought back in a viable and sustainable way. Munilal also spoke about Ghana's refinery, which opened after 6 years.
We do have contact with Ghana and the Minister of Energy of Ghana, who I expect, if all things go well, I will see him in a few weeks. And it would be, I think, an agenda item discussing the refinery and the experience and what they have done. But they have done that with a state entity, I believe. So I'm very excited to meet the Minister of Energy of Ghana.
And now for a look at today's energy and foreign exchange prices. Andrea Perez Sobers, CNC3 Business Watch.
Well, yeah. I am confused. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Pastor Google.
I am confused, sir. You can help me?
Well, I thought that the Honorable Minister of Energy would have assisted you, Pastor.
Well, I think, you see, your Minister of Energy would have said that the refinery, they have a committee, and the committee.
I told you that last night.
Yeah. So you told me that your government is looking to open back the refinery, but my question is, I'm not hearing him saying that now. What I'm hearing your minister of.
Remember, I told you last night, Pastor Google, that no one has heard about from the report of the committee that was arranged to do a feasibility study and make recommendations to the government. I told you I told you and the people who were listening that last night. I also told you that before last night, this Minister of Energy does not have a clue about anything pertaining to a refinery. I said that. I also told you that he would have to seek advice. And he is doing so. He is seeking advice from the Ghanaians. Imagine, look at who, I want people to listen, because people hearing, but they are listening. Look at who they're seeking advice from. And you know why? Because Guyana has sought advice from the Ghanaians. I wonder why. But when the Ghanaian came here in 2010, 2015 to talk to Kamla Prasad Misesa, he was shunned. People don't remember these things. He was shunned. And eventually she met with him, you know where? As Prime Minister. She met with him, allegedly, but I don't have the evidence of what I heard, allegedly, in her constituency office. But she didn't take him on, and Ghanaians eventually went further east to talk to countries like Japan and so on. Today, they're willing to talk to the Ghanaians. They want to talk to the Nigerian Wando, who have the money and the oil and the financial wherewithal. That's what they want to give us, because you know why? Because he was selected by the People's National Movement. That is why they don't want to go there. And I understand that. So they want to go with the Ghanaian today. But Pastor Google, things not looking good. I have said so before. It's going to take money. I said so last night. It's going to take money to do repairs, and it's going to take money to purchase the oil, whether it is naphthalene. So now, when this said, you said they're looking at ways and means. Because as I told you before, they have been offered certain, perhaps, ways of starting up certain sections of the refinery. In other words, they may not have to get crude oil. They may have to get naphtha to start up a certain section to give us the gasoline. But at the end of the day, they're still going to have to get gas for the heaters, gas for the lighting. They're going to have to train people, and they're going to have to get administrative staff. Whatever they do is still going to take that amount of money to get those things in order for the whatever section of the refinery they want to start. And I told you all last night, we have to be mindful of paria. Because if they decide, they could simply come and say, well, listen, we cannot start the refinery because the refinery is not viable and the refinery is not doable. But the part of the refinery that is doable is paria. And they can treat paria like how they treated the salt plant. And next thing you're going to know, it could be some private enterprise in charge of paria and making millions of US dollars. I told you.
My question would be but my question is, you need to explain to the listeners what, because somebody might say, well, yes, if a private owner could come and from Trinidad could run the refinery or run parts of the refinery. What's the problem with that?
Well, I will tell you now.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, the gas is subsidized by the government. The gasoline will no longer be subsidized by the government if it is that a private entity takes over the gasoline. And therefore, the price of gasoline will go which way? In what direction? Up. There will be no need because they will simply come and tell you the same thing with the salt plant. We paying for water. We will not be subsidizing the gasoline any further because there's a private entity and they have to make their money and pay the government taxes. That is what it's going to mean. So the subsidy that we are getting for our gasoline as it stands today and our diesel and so on, as it stands today, will no longer be enforced because a private entity would have taken it over and would want to determine their own pricing arrangement for you and I to pay. That is what it means. There's a
How long? What is the lease agreement with the salt plant? From since how long to now? Give the listeners an idea, because again, there's a reason why I'm telling you to do this, because some people in their minds, I would see nothing wrong with it.
Because they're not feeling it.
All right, but no. I understand that, but what I'm asking you, I'm not. But you explained that aspect of it. But the lease agreement, how much did they give the lease agreement to the owners of the persons of the desal plant? How long they give them it for?
24 years.
And that is my point. My point is that somebody who listening need to understand that this UNC government, under another incarnation, would have given a man 24 years to run a desal plant.
Yes.
And was charging the government an exorbitant price for water.
And they determined that they would wanted the money in US dollars, because the things that they had to get from the United States to maintain the desal plant was costing them in US.
Right, and that is my point. So that's why I said to you that I understand what you are saying about, you only need to understand that the price of gas will go up. But my point is that the evidence of proving to them that gas will go up is based on what we're seeing happening now with the desal plant.
And it's basis on that we will have to buy gasoline from abroad, and people who want to sell you their gasoline, their oil, will want it in what currency?
Well, we know it's US because we have heard Dr. Rowley in the parliament explaining
And
to
there
us
you go.
how much money we had to pay for and we still owing on oil for buying oil to refine.
And there you go. And that is why Dr. Rowley spoke about this. So it's going to cost us in US dollars. And that is what we don't have.
Well,
and
apparently
the people
they
of
have it.
Trinidad and Tobago has to understand that.
Apparently they have it, and we may not know where they have it.
And if it is, even before we reach to that point, people of Trinidad and Tobago, we don't have US dollars to assist our people when they want to travel, simply travel, or simply spend US dollars wherever. How are we going to raise US dollars to buy oil, to run a refinery that is in the lower end of the fourth quartile?
Well,
that is an old refinery, in other words.
But you
How
know,
are we doing that?
Right. And while I hear you with that, and I understand where you're going with that, and it is a fact, but this situation with this company that has left, you know what I have to say about this? Is that I remember when this metal company left, people were blaming Dr. Rowley, the workers were blaming the government.
Stop right there. Why did ArcelorMittal leave?
Because of gas.
I rest my case.
But no, I don't want to leave it there. I want to encourage people to investigate how the workers were behaving when that company left. They were blaming the government. How come we're not hearing from none of these workers blaming the government on the situation that they have found themselves in? When in truth and in fact, the people and they are saying that one of the main reasons why they're leaving is because of the government.
Pastor Google, my youngest brother was, when they closed ArcelorMittal, he was age 49. In other words, he got no pension. There are people. You see, when you're in it to understand it, then you would understand and you would see that these things happen in a particular way, that there is no, you can't just come and say, well, okay, they go leave money for we. They left nothing. ArcelorMittal left nothing for the workers. Absolutely. I can tell you that for a fact, because my brother was 49 years old when my youngest brother, and he got absolutely nothing. Zero. Nada, kaput. I'm not asking, I am telling you. I'm not asking these questions, I am telling you what went on with ArcelorMittal. And when they left, they went on to greener pastures because they were ArcelorMittal, the Indian guy, who was able to go on and continue his business in a foreign land, just like Nutrien will do the same. And people are going to be left.
But why are the workers not coming out and saying, hey?
Because they are hoping against hope.
No, well, the hope, no, nothing can be arranged. Nothing. You're hearing outrightly what the company saying that they go in their way. What is there to arrange? There's nothing to arrange again. You're hearing the company actually saying that, hey, no, we're not going to be bullied. So how it is I can be in a company, I working in a company, and I'm hearing the owners of the company saying that the government is bullying me, and only not coming out and saying nothing?
Well, Pastor Google, all I can tell the people, and I think you heard it this morning, when Tony Lee of I-95.5
Well, I played it just now.
Well, right. But there's nothing more that I can see. If people don't want to believe, And there's nothing more that I can say. It is live and direct. And if they want to believe Dr. Mooney, now let me tell you this. Let me say this. I am of the view that Nutrien may come back at some point in time, but not under this government. I am of that view. This is my view. Although they say they're selling out stuff, I do not believe that Nutrien will come back under this government because of the way they were treated, and they have said so in the what you call it? In what is said in the it said that they were treated badly, right? They were extorted, but they didn't use the word extort, but they said that they were treated badly as far as the demanding of the $28 million US, as well as there was not enough gas for them to continue in an environment where they would be profitable. That's what they said. And I am not one to argue with them. Because if I was to do so, but then how come they're still not here?
All right.
Right? So if people don't want to believe, I am of the view, I hope they come back, because they had, as I said before, and I'll keep repeating, they were supplying ammonia and so on to 30 countries. 30 countries. And I'm getting information which I will reveal to the people of Trinidad and Tobago how much money this government, the country was making from Nutrien. I don't have the...
Well, Dr. Rowley always used to tell us, it's just for me to find back a video with Dr. Rowley talking about...
I will get it, and I will have it by hopefully early in the new year to let people know.
Yeah, Dr. Rowley always used to say it.
Huh?
I said Dr. Rowley always used to share it with the country, how much money that company used to be giving us.
And I'm gonna tell you this, I'm gonna tell you people this, Trinidad and Tobago, Clip Deco is what is our feeder for the green paper, as we call it. They were the feeder. If all you don't want to believe that, the CEL plants that had 8 methanol plants running are now downgraded to junk bond status. It's not because of the PNM, it's because of this UNC. Well, you don't want to believe that? Fine, not a problem with me, But that is what is happening in Trinidad and Tobago today. 8 plants, imagine 8 plants today downgraded by Standard & Poor's to junk bond status. And nobody wants to believe that. But not a problem. But if you want to believe that if it is those plants have been downgraded, Mark's only a question. Are they going to start the refinery?
Well, let's hear what we brother from Point 14 had to say now. I want to play what he had to say.
Sure.
All right, sir. All right, man. Let's play the guy from Point. He had something to say.
And while I'm on that, let me make my statement about Dragon and Dragon can't dance and all these things. Brothers and sisters, sometimes I wonder, why do we have to make everything into something that is not? The government that is in power now has been very consistent, and that they would have disagreed at that time. So I'm saying now, we would have disagreed with the approach taken by the Rowley and Stuart Young administration, and we continue to disagree. But nobody was ever against Dragon. It's an important development for the country. Now, there are some details that I'm not going to put out there at this time, but I'm simply saying that it's time for us now to do what is best in the interest of the country. Now, I have made no qualms about it. If in the last administration they do something that is useful and this administration have given the commitment to keep it. But we have been consistent in what we have been saying. And you know what is interesting, brothers and sisters? I am seeing some people pretending that they're supporting Venezuela and that they're in with the struggle and so on. But these same people, when the next side was in power, they had nothing good to say about Venezuela, and they're talking about the government and the wicked and so on. So I don't understand. Consistency is something that we need to be here. And if you continue, I will call your name and call you out because, I mean, come on, you're commenting just to stay relevant or for commenting sake, but you have no real desire to support anything except for you to stay relevant. And that's why I keep saying there are persons who cannot even spell oil and they want to comment and they are experts on the oil field and the oil and gas industry. And sadly, some of them are in parliament. But I will leave that for parliamentary, and when we're in the parliamentary state and we in parliament and we think, and we'll debate. I will come with my information as you will come with your information, and we'll see which information is accurate and relevant. And as I said in my maiden speech, there are few things that the people on that side could debate with me about. And I continue to say, the closing down of the refinery and sending home all our petroleum workers was the worst economic decision made by any government. Yeah, I have to pause a little bit. The worst decision.
So that's the member of parliament for point 14. Air full, but what we gonna do? What will we do? We have to listen and hear what they have to say. The reality of it is, Trinidad and Tobago, that we are not making ourselves fully aware of what is going on. And when things start to happen, then we would say, well, we didn't know this, and I didn't know that, and the opposition is saying nothing, but they're talking. Information is coming out. Things are being put into place. And you all are not... as I said to the caller just now, I'm not hearing nothing from any of the employees of that company. Nothing. Nobody have nothing to say. Nobody have nothing to say. That something about that just don't rest right with me. So I'm taking your calls. 464-7003. 464-7003. 464-7003. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Pastor.
Good evening, sir.
Pleasantries to the country, pleasantries to your family. You know, I sat down here. I didn't want to call in, because I call in sometime in the middle of next month. But I had to call him when I heard this mistake, this error. This guy who's speaking about, or what he's speaking about, he knows nothing about this country. He's just a flash. I mean, what is really going on here? They're really playing with a foolish hour. It have sensible people here, normal, sensible people. They didn't go to college. But it have people that didn't go to school, but they have common sense. This man that you now play there, oh God, by a shame that that we have to present people like that to let the world see how stupid these people are. Oh gosh, man. Look, try and don't play too much now, man. Keep your program on the right track. Oh God, Jesus, Lord, bless you, brother. Have a nice night.
Same to you. 3, 4, 4. Let me 3, 4. 4. 464-7003. Call that throw off the week. 464-7003. 464-7003. Taking your calls.
You decided to swing, say you suffer under the PNM. And in the driver's seat you want a new face. Let them have their honeymoon, we're not going to hurry them. We're willing to grant them a period of grace. But some say it's months they're spending. When is this grace period ending? Others agree to trust the process. Some confounded, some.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Pastor Google.
Good evening, sir.
I'll go introduce myself properly to you. You know where is so-called the tourist bar, the corner of Lord Street?
I think so.
Yeah, well, I used to run that. The name of that bar was Top Drive. That was the last invention that came in the drilling thing in the late 92. So I worked for 36 years and 3 months in SMOL, Skinner Marine Operation Limited. For 20-something years as a tool pusher, so I know what I'm talking about. The first time Errol McLeod ever ride a helicopter is because the company just closed on and decided to give it 25%. And the largest following they must be ever had in Paramount Building. I led that. Errol McLeod was the understudy to George Weeks. So they brought Alan Alexander, which was the union lawyer. We had Reverend Nolly Clark, who used to be part of OWTU. Who else? But Alexander came to explain what would happen if we don't take that 25% and it go the other way. The money would have to pay the debtors. And if anything left, that is what we would get. We end up in the same thing like what I hear on the airwaves now. The women and them in the office didn't want it go public, didn't want it go on the papers because the embassy would see and they wouldn't get to go and because that was the explanation from the lawyer Alan Alexander. We so end up that we signed for that 25% and we went to Nathaniel King. He take 15,000 only to tell me, nah, he can't handle it. We had to go to the industrial court. End up in the industrial court. My company lawyer was so Emmanuel Innocent Clark and Regina Lamour. They give me one representative, where I is the shop steward controlling 120-something people on the East Coast. The day of the matter was in front, Joe Young, he was the judge. When so Ellis Clark, everybody is so Ellis. When I going in, they saying it's only the union executive, who they so-called officer, and I, who represent the people on the East Coast, all the rigs on the East Coast, could go in. And I said no, because we have teak, salmon, and cactus in different areas. Why I can't go in with 3 people? I raised my voice and was security heading with battle. Up came Mr. Ellis Clark to find out what's going on, and he said, no, give him 4 people to come in. I went in with Thompson, Penny, Hicks, and myself, and somebody else. And so Ellis Clark said he would enhance the package and give an additional 25%, but we must sign full and final settlement. I end up with 100 and something, and them gone with 100 and something thousand for 36 years and 3 months. So I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about. And that's how the bar got the name Top Drive, because with this new invention, it was less of a chance of the pipe sticking. This is why I could tell you, the kind of oil we get over on Padmore is the man that turned the foot saw, the foot spotting the first thing in the Pui field. Yes. And the oil we was getting was almost like Brent crude. So it was straight from the ground, straight to the tanker and out the country. That is why Point Up here had to go down. If it was that heavy crude oil, we wouldn't have to spend no money to buy oil from tanker. The kind of oil we produce, I was one of the bad people who was giving my children $100 to go to school and things. But you just learn from your mistakes. Munilal don't know the news from his elbow when concerning to that. None of them. The only person in that party got fired because she went to find out how the Gopals and them get a contract in NP. Carolyn Sipasad Beachran, a beautiful woman, knows she business. Theoretical and practical, not like that fat face one with it come after. You remember how she lost her work? With the Gopals, where the Prime Minister went to live as she got into power, is the largest, people were seen about rubbish in the place. So must be that why she talking about dump. But all of a sudden, they get a haulage contract from NP. And Carlin Sipasad Bechan went to investigate that. Ram Logan step in. And they remove the only person that did really understand energy business equal to or underneath Mr. Khan. So she lost her work. And they bring in who I used to call the Minister of Oil Spill. Even when they had the large oil spill, he only paid the people in Otoiti. All you just forget, the people in Labrie was housed in a community center. The children were taken in a place in Point. Labrie people forget that and still vote them people out. That's how we get to know about fishermen and friends at the sea. Like he had one pelican. He only exposing it with oil and clean. He was opposed to the emulsifier they put in the sea, how it go kill the crab and no more fish in the area. People just forget the elaborate parents then tell them children that. Pastor, let me leave you. I feel hurt, I didn't want to expose. Well, you know me, You know me. Once you know Top Drive, when San Fernando used to block off from all now, so the place never closed on me. They call me Cam. I'm gone.
All right, Mr. Khan.
Have a good year.
Same to you. All right, I'm taking some more of your calls. 464-7003. 464-7003. 464-7003.
Some with reasons unfounded, but here is the issue I want to address. How do you feel in your new coat? as you sit in your lifeboat with clipboard and pen in hand, taking note. How do you feel in this era with fake news and hysteria? Are you wishing you could cast a new vote? Do you feel like a winner? Are you pleased with your returns? Is there a crafty spinner whose deliveries twist and turns? Do you feel victorious? All life now seems torturous. I want you to search deep within. Tell me, do you feel like you win? In Parliament we expect sharing of wisdom and grace, not ministers with big degrees in a small-minded fight. So shameful to see MPs ranting and pushing race, trading insults across the floor just to be right. Real issues they're not addressing, listening to them so depressing. We're left to wonder how...
All right, so my time is coming to a close for this evening. I want to thank, all right, I have a caller calling in. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening to you, Pastor Google.
You calling in just when I looking to close. You feel bright, you want to keep me here till after 11. Go ahead.
No. I just want to come in and endorse what Brian's previous callers would have said. I mean, Brian was spot on in his presentation about the comparison between the desal plant and what is going on with Nutrien. I mean, the people in the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago need to understand Brian's presentation. And you said it rightly, Pastor Google. It's going to have a rippling, trickling effect down the chain. If a private company comes and take over Paria, yes, because we are not paying the right price for gas, and electricity, and all the different services that we are enjoying nicely in the country, because it is being subsidized. I don't know, Brian, don't know what to say again, but the man on the ground, and I'm glad that you took the opportunity to, tell him to explain to the people, because we have a lot of simple-minded people in the country that don't understand micro and macroeconomics, and that the salt plant, the Salcott, is one of the prime examples, and I'm glad how he mentioned the 24 years, and the kind of exorbitant U.S. prices that company is charging the country, and we will continue to pay until when? 2032, 2030. This is a while from now, no, Pastor. You know what things that happen between now and then? Where are we getting this money? And the mention of the Nigerian firm, because the previous administration made a rate. I mean, just thinking about that refinery is just mind-boggling to me, And to hear the member of Parliament for talking that foolishness on that tape that he played, according to the caller, you should have don't even bother to play it again. Because that is nonsensical, what he's saying.
You think them care?
Very impractical. I mean, what is there to say again? If we have a gas curtailment issue in the country, when we getting gas for the methanol plants and them that get downgraded. Nutrien, I agree with you that they may come back under a different administration, because this administration of how they treated the people, obviously they're going to take up the Georgie bundle and find other greener pastures. And I believe that Nutrien loved Trinidad and Tobago and how it was running. People don't understand that Nutrien is one of the mainstay revenue earners in Trinidad and Tobago, I don't think it's hit yet, Pastor. But soon come it will, We're in for a rough period next year, Pastor Gula, I
Sorry
don't think
to
it
laugh.
hit people.
I'm
Everybody's
sorry to
having a
laugh.
jolly good time right now.
I'm sorry to laugh, but let me tell you how we're going down. I can tell you?
Yeah.
All right, so let me tell you how we're going down. So we just came out of Christmas. People eat the ham, lamb, and jam. People get earbuds. People get cell phones. People got
all kind of nice things.
Tablet. All kind of thing they get. Some moment I see a woman get a car, and she let the outside man drive the car, and the man who bought the car kill himself. You didn't hear about that?
Gosh. No.
Yeah, that happened.
I stay off the grid for a few days.
Yeah, that happened. The other thing is, after that we have New Year's, which is day after tomorrow.
More partying again, more drama, more line, more up and down. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Jolly good time, yeah?
Yeah. Then after that is Carnival.
That taking place still?
Yeah, after that is Carnival.
I have to ask because we need to show it taking place,
Yeah. After that is Carnival.
Wait and see.
Jam and wine, you hear the kaiso and them coming out. Clutching a little kaiso there for you just now. You understand? After that, when the cocaine wear off, when the anesthetic wear off, you know when you go by the dentist, and the dentist put liquid cocaine in your teeth, in your gum, and he choke and he pull, and all you feeling is just the little choke, but you're not feeling the pull.
Yeah.
If you do feel the pull, like how people felt a little pull when they would have raised the ticket fare, raised this, raised that, you have to pay more for your and I'm hearing some of the activists saying that they didn't raise any of the taxes. Why pay them lying and saying that they raised taxes and they didn't raise no tax with brethren? Yeah. The activists out there, the activists working hard. And I want to say this to PNM people. They just say about how, you're not hearing the opposition, but they're UNC activists out there, you know. They defending the government, you know. Yeah, they defending the government right through. They go defending the government down to the last. They defending the government. So one of them come out. One of them come out and he said that how it have no new taxes, and PNM lines to people and say that how with new taxes and how no new taxes, and boom, today now you're seeing where if you want 10 years you have to pay X, Y, and Z. Yeah, if you want 5 years, you have to pay how much?
So we got Section 34 on Christmas night.
Beautiful, and that jolt people a little bit. People get a little jolt. They feel and they hold the arm. They just hold the dentist's hand. You know, I don't know about you, but I take out teeth already. And when I feel when I feel the little jolt from the dentist, a holy hand. When you see me holy hand. He's a big man. You want a little something, oh? I say, yes, sir.
My dentist had to stand up on a chair.
Yeah, I said, thank you, sir.
Follow my duty. You have to stand up on a chair.
I said, thank you, sir.
The woman short, so she had to stand up on a chair and hold the clamp.
Okay. So when my dentist now, thing and he say, all right, okay, let me see what I can do here for you. He put a little more. And the little more is Carnival.
Yep.
The little more is Carnival. You know what I'm telling you?
Just before that year, so we finish it.
Right. So after the Carnival, and you go back out to work, and you know that I say, let me be real now, because we're looking to close. You know that I say January is what?
Yeah, the guava season, man.
January is like 90 days.
Yeah.
That's what Trinidad doesn't say. And you know, I as a working young man, I used to hear people saying that, and I never could have understood it, because I used to save my money, and I used to put aside my money and budget properly, so that when January come around, I don't know, you don't come and borrow no money from me, because just what I do, you could do.
Yeah, of course.
Right. So, but you know, Trinidadians, I see it all on people's status, you see it all on people's Facebook, YouTube, everywhere. 99 days in January. You know when the bacchanal will start?
All adage, yes.
You know when the bacchanal will start? When they choke the card in their account and they see they get paid late.
Yep.
You know when the bacchanal will start? me tell you when the bacchanal will start. The bacchanal will start when they realize that they're not getting the 10%, the increase.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
That is when the drama.
I didn't want to think about that.
Yes, that's when the drama going to start. But you know what is my biggest problem? My biggest problem is when those things start to happen, right? They will start to call the opposition to do something and tell the PNM, oh, they're too quiet, and oh, they're not doing nothing, and oh, look what we're going through. And if it was the UNC, we would have heard them on the radio, we would have heard them on the TV. They'd have been all over social media. But the reality of it was said to you. Did you listen?
Before, during, now, today, we're just not listening at all.
Why are we not listening, sir? I want you to tell me. You are an elder to me. I want you to tell me why you think Trinidadians and stick brick in the air.
Pastor Google.
Be honest.
I'll tell you why. Because we are a party country. We just love the gimme, get syndrome. This is all we're about. This is why expats and foreigners love to come here. Because how it hangs, it swings here. We take no responsibility and accountability for nothing. We just like how it is. And the more we get, a man sing a song about this thing already, you know. As long as we get it, we happy. Yes, we happy. Don't mind how we get it, we happy. From the wrong side, right side, left side. As long as we get, we ain't vexed, we happy. That is the kind of mentality we have in Trinidad and Tobago. My wife used to always say that. We are not a serious people.
Why? How we reach there?
How we reach there?
How we reach there?
Because that carnival mentality, nothing living rum, roti, and politics is the mainstay. That is the talk shop every day. But if we take a little time and be responsible as citizens, they built Dubai City in 50 years, you know. How old this country is? We had two windfalls of revenue. Where we could have built this place 3 times over. Lloyd Best said it, you know, in the 70s, you know. If you only take the time and sit down and plan properly, when the windfall is at us. Plan, build, have a little vision. And we had many visionary prime ministers in our past. They said we want to fight them down. Look at Dubai now. Dubai, you know, Insan Ishmael said something at time on his program when he was alive. You know what he said? When he went to Dubai, he made inquiries. Dubai's economy at the time was running at 9-point-something billion US dollars. Same budget as Trinidad and Tobago. But look at the kind of infrastructural development they did. You know what they did? They had serious contractors that came and had to build things within time and budget. Else, you lose your money. Let me serious people, because they understand that the people is what make the place. So they build everything to suit the people, and look at it now. 50 years they do it. It was a desert. They don't have electricity and water to ever go in that place. And they're in the middle of a desert. But we have everything in sweet tea and tea. And what we have? Just political foolishness for the last how much years.
But could I add why I think Dubai would be so successful? They don't have the issue of religion, and they don't have the issue of race.
Or corruption.
When you go there, it's either you comply.
Oh, okay.
You comply or you leave. It's only how long ago, I think a friend of mine was telling me that Dubai allowed churches to come and have church there now. Dubai was not allowing no church there.
Yep.
It's either you're Muslim or you go your way.
Well, that's the place where the one whole block when I go at restaurant just now. Huh? Yeah. 3 churches in one block.
So my thing is, while I hear you and I understand your view and your point concerning Dubai the reality for me of Dubai is that, just like as people used to do, I used to hear my former colleagues and them, or radio announcers on 91 talk about Singapore. The leader back then of Singapore did not have black people. Singapore didn't have Indian people. Singapore did not have a different multicultural society. Singapore had Singapore people.
That's it.
And he understood the culture of his people, and he was able to do what he had to do to develop Singapore. And if you did not abide by the rules, that'd be a portion.
Yep.
We don't have that here.
In the two examples, absolutely no corruption. I just made the point with Dubai to just factor in the budget, that they were running the same budget in US dollars every year. That was the point I was making.
Yeah.
Not that we could rival the development of Dubai, because that's a totally different culture. It's just the amount of money in the budget was 9 point something. That is what Trinidad said at the time. That made me say, wow, look at that. And look at the kind of development. But it's different cultures, and so is Singapore and so on. You can't begin to think about
people,
that.
and
There's no democracy, there's dictatorship.
Thank you. And that is what
highway.
And that is what and the reality of it is that I'm seeing Miss Bissassa trying to do the same thing here. Right? I'm seeing Miss Bissassa trying to do the same thing here. But the reality of it is that the people not accepting that.
Yep.
The people not accepting that. You lie to the people, blatantly lie to them, and tell them that you were going to reduce traffic offense. You were not going to raise it.
Taxes and traffic offenses.
You said that you were going to reduce it. You did not do that. You raised it. That is deception.
At the highest degree, and for a prime minister to
yeah, that's deception. And then you want to tell us when we threw it back in your face, someone said to you, but you did not say to us that you were going to do this. You threw in our face. Yeah, but the list is lawless.
I thought that
those
so reprehensible.
But the reality
to be seen that to the nation.
Yeah, but what did she say to them? She said only lawless and what?
Yeah, I didn't want to repeat you.
Repeat it.
I want to listen back over to that thing, because that's the part that I heard, the lawlessness. And of course, some of us are quite lawless. Yeah? Some of us are quite lawless, but the majority of people, the right thinking persons, the responsible, the accountable. But if you could get everybody to be on that same page, and in this democracy that we are running here, that is compromise all how. The possibility of that happening on the political divide part is a task, But my point tonight is that opportunity we had.
I want to ask you something. You really didn't hear what she said, but we are lawless, what?
I didn't hear the part after lawless.
Really?
No, I didn't hear the part after lawless.
Take a listen.
I just happened to skate across when I heard it.
All right, well, take
a listen. All I hear, and I went somewhere else.
Take a listen.
Well, political parties have taken strong objection to the Prime Minister describing Trinidad and Tobago as a lawless dump. Well, political parties have taken strong objection to the Prime Minister describing Trinidad and Tobago as a lawless dump.
Kamla Prasad Bisasa used the phrase to justify a sharp increase in traffic fines and custom duties, arguing that the country had slipped into a state of disorder due to the entitled attitudes of citizens who ignore laws.
But even though the parties are upset, as we explain in this report, the Prime Minister...
Wow.
Lawless what? Lawless dump. That's what you call a nation when you promise them that you were going to lower traffic offenses. You said that. You said that you were going to lower it. You said that the government before were using it as a revenue drive. You said that. And you said that is wicked, evil, nasty licensing officers and police officers. advantaging citizens. So the same police officers and licensing officers who you said that they were deceit, they were nasty, conniving, whatever. All the words, your adjective you wanted to put to them, those are the same persons you're going to be using now. Have you changed the police force? Is it new members of the licensing? Do you remember what this Prime Minister said, sir?
Yeah.
Do you remember?
It's going to be a terrible time, you know, because there are going to be officers and wardens who want to make a quota for the day, you know.
Oh, you're talking about quota? Sir, did you forget that they would have rewarded a gentleman who gave out 300 tickets? It was it 300 or 3,000? How much it was?
Yes, and that's what I mean by quota, because if that is the precedent that was set, then come on.
Let's listen to your let's listen to your Prime Minister one more time, sir. Listen to your Prime Minister, right? One more time.
I want to raise another matter of concern that people have been bringing to our attention as your elected representatives. The driving population. They're confronted daily by the challenges of navigating our bad roads and now the heavy hand of government in the licensing office. Touted as a mechanism for promoting road safety and accountability, the ticketing and demerit point system is being abused by some police and licensing officers and has become a source of anguish and frustration for many drivers across the land. Instead of instilling a sense of responsibility, it has bred fear and resentment, fueled by a lack of transparency and trust in the licensing authority. The government should review the demerit system. People are losing their license and therefore their ability to earn a livelihood because of the arbitrary behavior of some licensing and some police officers. Some of these officers seem to be on a power trip, bullying and abusing our citizens regularly. There are many videos on the internet of officers harassing drivers with no basis in law. They insult and abuse drivers in front of their families. These officers must be brought to hand, must be reprimanded for their abusive behavior towards the public. Tonight I propose a new vision for road safety that prioritizes education and rehab over simple punishment. We must advocate for a system which offers retraining instead of imposing harsh financial penalties and suspensions, except for the most egregious, the worst kinds of offenses: dangerous driving, driving under the influence of drugs or alcohol. Let us invest in training programs that promote safer driving habits and equip drivers with the skills to navigate our roads responsibly. We must explore alternatives to fines and suspensions. As again saying, training, education. Stop taking away people's means to feed their families. Who will feed their families when they cannot earn a living? In addition, traffic fines are too high. UNC government will reduce traffic fines across the board and implement state-sponsored driver education programs instead. What is publicly presented as a mission for public safety, you know what, is really a scheme by this corrupt, wicked government to collect more taxes for revenue collection. We cannot ignore that the licensing authorities' heavy-handed tactics, which have turned our roads into battlegrounds at daily roadblocks and traffic jams. This is not about road safety. It is yet another tax drive by this government using the licensing authority to raise revenue. So when it's not property tax, inheritance tax, online tax, tire tax, it's tax after tax after tax, and now licensing authority taxes. It must stop. It must stop.
Wow.
You wowing?
That is definitely an earful. Yes, I heard that presentation before on one of our forums, And what is she doing now that is different to what she just stated there to the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, citizenry of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago? What is she doing different to that? Or opposite to that, as she said she would be doing? More punitive now than ever before. I know people are being rewarded for being good at doing that. So it's going to be, I mean, we know everybody has to get their vehicles up to par. They have to, for lights, for anything.
Well, the 10%, come on, you get pay.
No.
You get raise a pay, sir. You get raise a pay. You get 10%. So within your 10%, please upgrade your, make sure that your car is in proper working condition. Please.
And the pensioners and things like
that. No, that's only business. Only vote for that. Only voted for, look, leave me alone now. Never go there. I want flavor cliff, I'll go there. Only could be. Not me and only, you know.
But
not me and only you.
I want to come out by saying, I mean, this government said they would keep, you know, so remember for Point 14 said, you know, if something sounds good from the previous administration, we would keep it. So if a company from Nigeria say, yes, we're willing to take over the refinery,
so,
and added to that, we want to make you fly 8 hours across the Atlantic rather than go North America and then fly for 23 hours just to get to Africa. You can fly straight across to Nigeria.
Sir, leave me alone.
Look, Pastor Gould, thank you for taking my call, and I bid you a God's-full rest of the night.
Same to you, sir.
Let me say here tonight to public servants, wherever you may be, if your president succeeds in removing the PNM from office, many thousands of you will follow that by removing yourself out of your jobs. And let me tell you why. The government of Trinidad and Tobago led most of the years by caring PNM governments have taken on the responsibility of ensuring a quality of life for people in this country that is now at the level of almost impossible to fund beyond where we are. In a $60 billion budget, the largest expenditure in that budget is on the monthly payment to public servants wherever they might be. Every month, on average, not just public servants on the Gazette, you know, the government supports the payroll of some state enterprises. If WASA doesn't get a $200 billion from the Minister of Finance virtually every month, WASA workers cannot be paid consistently in the way that they have been, you know. But as Prime Minister, I could tell you, the hardest job of the government and of the Prime Minister is to ensure that there are revenues coming in on one side to ensure that expenditure can be supported on the other side. And nobody could give you any other equation. The singular equation that you should be concerned about in this country now is what is our revenue situation and what is our expenditure situation. If you listen to the PSA leader and the UNC and their campaign in 2025, all they are concerned about is improving and expanding the expenditure side of the equation. And to do that, to make it, honey, quoted for you, they tell you things like they will increase public servants' pay by 10%. Ladies and gentlemen, from this platform tonight, I could tell you, once a government comes in and gets on that pathway of making that kind of increase to public servants, the highway has to be labeled two names. One, you are going to end up at the IMF, the International Monetary Fund station, and you're going to get there by the road called devaluation. And let me tell all of you something tonight. If God forbid, and there's a government in office that finds itself without revenues to meet the monthly expenditure to public servants, the one thing that government will not do is to write checks to you and then the checks bounce in the bank. Governments don't operate so. Before you get to that point where the checks will bounce in the bank, you cut the liability of requiring to write the checks. You know what that means? When the government finds itself in a position not being able to pay the payroll, ask Barbados what happened. It's tens of thousands of public servants that come off the payroll. Governments don't have you on the payroll working and can't pay you. They take you off the payroll. In this country, anybody who is telling you that they will incur expenditure that we all know the revenues cannot support, they are telling you in code that they intend to cut the public service. And let me tell you what my source of information tells me when I try to understand what the UNC is about. You know what the UNC is saying quietly and secretly? If they ever get to that situation where they come into office and they can't pay the bills that they're committed to, and they cut the public service, is mainly PNM supporters that will be affected, because the bulk of the public service is East-West Corridor people supporting the PNM.
Hey, boy, yo, yo, yo. You decided to swing, say you suffer under the PNM, and in the driver's seat you want a new face.
So let me say thank you very much to all of you for joining me on Constructive Talk today. It was a pleasure being with you guys, and we wish you all a happy new year one time, and you all can join me at church tomorrow. I will be broadcasting live the service on our YouTube page, so you can jump on if you are not in, if you're not in, you know, if you're not going anywhere, you can jump on this YouTube channel, and I will be broadcasting this service live on Constructive Talk. Again, let me say thank you to all of you for being a great audience. Night after night, you all have been with me. And I want to say thank you very, very much. Happy New Year to all of you. I pray that God will bless you, keep you, and keep your family. And Constructive Talk will be right here to continue conversation with you as we see where our nation is going in 2026. God bless. Thanks again for all the encouragement and all of you who have supported Constructive Talk.
Provided by the speakers and or presenter on Facebook and YouTube is for general informational purposes only. All information is provided in good faith. However, Constructive Talk makes no representation or warranty of any kind, express or implied, regarding the accuracy, adequacy, validity, reliability, availability, or completeness of this information. The information provided by the speakers and or presenter on Facebook and YouTube is for general informational purposes only. All information is provided in good faith. However, Constructive Talk makes no representation or warranty of any kind, express or implied, regarding the accuracy, adequacy, validity, reliability, availability, or completeness of this information.
I want to start by reading a quote for you that is trending online now. Someone sent it to me and I saw it so many times. I think it's good for us to read this quote. I'm sure when I start to read it, you will be familiar with it. It says, "Out of hatred for the cockroach, The ants voted for the insecticide. Out of hatred for the cockroach, the ants voted for the insecticide. They all died, big on in the tail, including the housefly that didn't even vote. They all died, including the housefly that didn't even vote. It says an African proverb, but it could be a Trinidadian and Tobagonian proverb. It is so true of our situation here today. Oh, they have jokes, eh? PNM people have jokes today.